All right. Welcome everyone. Welcome to WITS Bootcamp 2021. And if you have not already done so, I highly recommend that you, one, have some tea or coffee nearby. Go and make sure you have pen and paper or anything that you use to go and take notes because you are about to be introduced to a very fun and fulfilled day. And before we go on, let me first introduce myself. My name is Karisma, and I'm actually a part of this amazing, wonderful community. If you haven't seen me in hosting many of the events or within the community, I am in there now. And today I'm going to be actually leading you through the entire boot camp and welcoming on our other amazing speakers that have a wealth of information to go ahead and get you started on your journey as a creator. So, with that said, if you guys have any questions or want to post any comments, use the comment section to ask questions there. It should be on the right or on your left, but it's on your screen somewhere. So make sure that you're using that to ask any questions or leave any comments because that'll come right back to us so that we can go ahead and get them addressed. And if you need live captions, you can watch on WITS Travel Creator Plus Brand Facebook page, which we're going to go ahead and drop that inside of the chat box. So anyone that needs live captions can actually click on that link and be able to watch with live captions there. And for everyone that is attending, please do us a favor. It's no fun unless we're sharing the love on our social media feeds. So we're going to use the hashtag WITS Online. You're going to follow at She's Wanderful and tag all of your fun posts today. Go and make photos of the exciting information that you're learning today. I highly recommend you also take a screenshot of each one of the actual speakers and share it with the world on who you're learning this wonderful information from. And then also follow at WITS Summit on Twitter and Insta, and actually at WITS on Twitter. There's no Insta for that, but we're actually on Twitter. So make sure you're also tagging, sharing, spread the love, and then make sure that everyone knows exactly where you are today. And for all of you that are attending, you can know that the recording is going to be available at the very same link that you clicked on today, right after the event. And so if you miss anything, you're going to be able to rewind, watch it again, go ahead and take notes now, and then be able to come back and review those notes later to use them in the future. So I know all of you are attending WITS online for either the first time or you've maybe attended a WITS event in person. But for those of you that haven't, I'm going to share a little tidbit. Today we're about to have a lot of fun. But if you have never attended a WITS in person, I highly encourage you that after today's over, after this boot camp is over, that you go and book your ticket to the next WITS events in person, because the magic, the fun that happens in person, it will never be in comparison to what we're about to share with you online. Today, we're about to have a lot of fun. We're about to do a lot but in person, you get to feel the energy that is of women coming from all over the world to come together to create sisterhood, to create a bond, and to learn and grow from one another. So again, if you haven't already done so, after bootcamp today, make sure that you go and get your WITS ticket for the next WITS event online. Because WITS is the premier event for travel's top marketing talent, creative entrepreneurs, influencers, DMOs, and where industry comes together to discuss future innovations. We build dynamic collaborations, and we change the travel worldwide, all while supporting and empowering a dynamic women's community and gender diverse community as well. So why did a lot of people go, why did you create WITS Online? Well, WITS Online was created to connect everyone, even when we're not traveling, to be able to give us the hope, the inspiration, and the connection to one another, no matter where we are in the world, and no matter if we can travel or if we're staying at home. So this not only today, but the entire weekend. I want you to make the most out of WITS. And if you're attending today off of one of the free tickets, do me a favor, and I highly encourage you to go and upgrade your ticket right after this and take advantage of all the sessions that are taking place the entire weekend. There is a wealth of information. I can tell you from firsthand experience. I walked into WITS the very first time after attending the travel show, and I actually met Marissa at the travel show, and she encouraged me to come and check out this weekend. And all I knew that it was a weekend that I was told was a bunch of women travelers. But when I left that weekend, I was so inspired to go and make the changes, but I was not only inspired, but I was informed and educated. And that very next year, I came back to WITS again, and I was making an income as a travel creator. So there has been no other event that I know of that you can actually come one year, the very next year, be able to have the tools and resources that you need to be able to create a business that will allow you the freedom to travel the world. So with that said, for those of you that enjoy today and you're not a Wanderful member, I highly encourage you to go ahead and take advantage of the 30% off on annual plans for the 72 hours that we're going to be providing it. We're going to be giving a discount code later on, so you want to stay tuned and stay throughout the day. And for those of you that purchase the year of benefit tickets, you'll be able to get a 1-year free membership. So make sure you take advantage of that as well. And a quick little teaser for all of you that actually are getting the membership or already have the membership, we have the Creator Connect that is launching soon. I mean, I can go on for days and share with you exactly how exciting this is, but how about having a membership that not only educates you, but connects you to the brands, to those that are making the decisions to be able to make the collaborations happen. You can connect with the decision makers, all while being a Wanderful member. So stay tuned because that's coming soon. And also, for all of you that are current members and those of you that are joining, we have a nice little giveaway that we're doing because there's going to be a live Q&A for all of those that begin and join us members, that you can ask questions about everything that's going on here today in boot camp at a later date so you can get all your questions answered. So without further ado, I am so excited to announce and introduce our first speaker. Now, this dynamic woman, if you have not met her already or you don't know who she is, I highly encourage you to go and really pay attention, because there's not many women or many people in this world that I know that have gone through the great lengths to make change in a world. And its change starts with one person. And I'm going to introduce to you Beth Santos. Beth Santos is the founder and CEO of Wanderful, which she created a blog and is now a global community and lifestyle brand that specializes in helping all women travel the world. She's the creator of WITS, as well as the Bessie Awards and Wanderfest, which is coming in 2022. Beth has been named one of the 17 change makers in the hospitality industry by Business Insider and one of the 10 people changing the future of Boston by Time Out. She is the co-founder of #AtTheTable, a national movement to support female founders. And today, Beth is an acclaimed thought leader, consultant for travel brands and destination marketing organizations, a keynote speaker who has collaborated with organizations such as TripAdvisor, the Girl Scouts of the USA, and the Travel and Adventure Show. She is a graduate of the Kellogg School of Management and Wesley College and lives in Boston with her husband and 2 daughters. And most importantly, this is a woman that is changing lives all over the world. And without creating the community that she has created, many thousands of us all over the world would not be able to have our creator businesses be able to travel the world safely if it wasn't for her. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Beth, if you can please come to the stage.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Karisma. Good morning. I'm saying good morning to you because I know you're in Los Angeles. It's good. It's afternoon for me now in Boston. So very exciting.
Yeah, so exciting. And yeah, good morning, good afternoon, and probably good evening, depending on what time
Yes.
and time zone people are actually chiming in. So I'm really excited for your topic that you're going to be sharing, because this is a very important topic, and this is actually something that gives people the ability to be able to transition into, maybe they have a traditional job and they want to figure out a way to break into a way to be a creator. So
Mm-hmm.
do you want me to share the title, or do you want to share the title? How do you want to do this?
Yeah. So I'm going to be talking with you all about 8 steps to start your travel blog today. And this is for anyone. We'll talk about who it's really for, but really, I think across the board, if you're thinking about starting a blog, if you've kind of started one, but you're not really sure what to do next, whether you're just looking for a little bit of a refresher, this session is really just that very first kickoff to get you everything that you need to know to begin. And then I know Karisma, you and Justine also have some really great sessions following me that kind of take a deeper dive. So
Yeah.
excited to be the first here.
Yeah, so I'm going to hop off screen, but before I do, everyone, again, if go grab your writing apparatus, your pen, paper, however you do it, because however you take notes, but you want to make sure that you're taking tons of notes. Pay attention and get excited, because what she's about to share with you, it was the beginning of my journey, and I'm really excited for all of you to learn.
Thanks, Karisma. So, everybody, welcome, welcome. I know, Karisma, thank you for that amazing introduction and for all of the things that you said to orient everyone here who's at Beginner Bootcamp. We have been hosting Beginner Bootcamp now for I don't know, a few years. And there's some really nice themes that we talk about whenever we do this boot camp. First of all, as Karisma said, a lot of people who come and participate, I don't say watch because usually we're in person, but this year we're going to do it all online, who participate are not just necessarily new to the blogging world and also kind of the creator and social media influencer world, but also who are new to WITS. And so if that's you, and if this is your first time coming into the WITS community, I just want to say, on behalf of myself and the rest of the Wanderful team, welcome, welcome. We're so glad to have you. It's always so exciting to watch this grow. I know when I first started WITS, back in 2014, we really didn't know how big or how much it would evolve. I think the world of blogging was a completely different world then. Making money while starting a blog or creating a business out of a blog, those were all far into the future. I started my own blog because I found a need, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that during our session of, not really necessarily knowing what the solution was, but knowing that I felt something and I wanted to share that feeling and share that experience with other people and also share their stories. And that's what got me writing. And I think in the very beginning of all of this, when we first had that first day of WITS, we just wanted to bring other women together who had created that space for themselves, that wanted to share their stories and wanted to share their experiences. And I cannot even tell you, for any of you who happen to have been in that room, I know that there's a smaller and smaller number of us who are in that room that first day of our very first WITS, but it was such a magical experience. And over the years, as we've been evolving, I think we've seen even more of that magic grow. We've watched the travel industry transform in good ways and also in not so good ways. We've seen the identity of a creator evolve, right? We didn't even use the word creator in 2014. It was all about blogging. And that's what this session is going to primarily focus on, is some of the basics of how to start that blog, things that you should be thinking about. We're going to talk about this from a business perspective, but we're also going to talk about it from, maybe you don't want to start a blog for a business. You just want to start because you want a place to write something. You want to share your travels with your family and friends. That's okay too. So for whatever reason you're starting, I want to make sure that this session is giving you the information that you need to just kick off and kind of touch the surface of that. And I'm seeing great comments come in. So the other thing I wanted to say is, especially if you're watching this on YouTube, not so much on Facebook, but sometimes when we watch things on YouTube, we get really into watch mode, You're just kind of watching and you become very passive. You forget that you can actually be an active part of this. And an important quality of WITS and an important quality of the Beginner Bootcamp in general is engaging, right? Sharing your own experiences, sharing what resonates with you, asking questions, giving feedback, helping each other with feedback. And I know it's a little bit harder to do that online, but I encourage you, be involved, stay connected, use the comments as a space. This is for you. This is a chance for you to actually get your questions answered. I can do it in real time. Like, hey, Janelle from Gurnee, Illinois, I'm calling you out because you just posted. Welcome, welcome. Jasmine, I see, has been here for many years. It's great to have you back, Jasmine. Jana is a first timer and glad to be here. Anne is in the house as well. Everyone, share with us who you are, where you're coming from if you haven't yet. And also, the thing I want to do with this Beginner Bootcamp is make sure that you're getting a good understanding of whatever questions you have and getting those answered. So go ahead and take a minute and put in the chat why you're here. Are you starting out? Are you, thinking about starting a blog? Are you, curious about what's going on? Are you just like, I'm missing Beth's face, I'm going to go and check in with her at the early morning or late night hours, depending on where I am? Share what you're looking for, because we can address that during my session. And I know Karisma and Justine, who have the 2 sessions after me, can address that in their sessions too. So Andrea, welcome from Kansas. We have Kelly in Pittsburgh. Carla said she's just starting with an idea, and so she needs to start building her foundation. That's fantastic, Carla. We will definitely get you that foundation that you need. Anything else that you need? I know Christine is here, and Christine is very active on YouTube and on video. We are going to prioritize, Christine, so we are going to prioritize the blogging and blogging platforms, but whatever questions you have, I'm here for you. So if you're getting into the space of more of content creation on another channel that's not a blog, totally fine. We can be here and get you some good information. Amit is saying she's not sure if she can write a blog. So we can talk about that. What would make you a good blogger? Why would you be somebody who should actually start a blog? Jasmine needs a refresher, and she says she misses Beth. I love it. Oh, Christine is like, I'm ready to hear about blogging. Okay, let's do it. So Journeys is trying to transition from a hobby to a business blog. Let's see, what else do we have? Jen is here from Portland. Triple F Photo Tours runs a photo tour to Uganda and combines that with a philanthropist outreach program to teach photography to local girls in Uganda and help them get jobs. That's amazing. So share these stories. And the other thing that's really good about this, and I know Marissa, who's running the back end, is probably laughing right now because I told her I have to keep this under 45 minutes and we haven't even started the presentation yet. The other great thing about this is that your blog is a launching off point for whatever else that you're doing, right? This isn't necessarily just about how to start a blog for the sake of a blog. This is about how to start a blog so that you can get yourself to whatever that next step is that you want to get to. Building a community, which is where I started. And did I know that I was going to build a community from a blog? Absolutely not. But let me share my screen with you so that you can see this, because we have to actually start. And hold on, make sure that I can do this. But the having a good intention about where you're coming from is absolutely essential. So this slide is all about me. If you're familiar with Wanderful, welcome back. If you're not familiar with Wanderful, welcome. We are an international community of women who love to travel and want to help other women get out there too. That is a critical part of this. When I started Wanderful, I started it as a blog. I was traveling on my own. I was living overseas, and I found that there was a real lack of information out there for women, especially women who are traveling solo. There was a lot of, if you Googled women in travel, you found a lot on fashion and a lot on what to wear, not so much on anything else. There's also a lot of safety conversation. But what about social norms? What about gender dynamics in different countries? What about dressing appropriately to be respectful to local religious or social customs? What about maternity? What about traveling with kids? I mean, there was not enough real information. And so that's where I started, I started a place of, I'm not finding this information for myself, so I'm just going to start writing about it. And that blog turned into an online magazine. We had a whole host of women sharing their stories as travelers and the things that they'd learned. And then what we realized over time was that we had built this incredible community of writers and of readers, but there were so many other things that they could do to help each other navigate the world. And so then we moved into events and membership and chapters. We have 50 chapters all around the world. We have an online member community. I know a lot of members are here watching that can help each other and actually connect with each other when they travel, right? Real women that you can go have a cup of coffee with or host in your home when they're coming into your town. But then the other thing that we did was really looking at why is it that there is this lack of information, right? If you don't know, women are 80% of travel making decisions. We dominate the travel industry. And yet, when I talk about women in travel, oftentimes people think or say to my face, oh, what a cute niche. Oh, why did you think of women in travel? Oh, not realizing that we actually run the whole travel space. And why is that? Because there is a disconnect between the information that's out there and the size of this community. And so the thing, in addition to helping support women who love to travel, we're also looking at what are some of the systemic issues in the travel industry that are keeping women from getting out there. So that's where supporting content creators and influencers comes into place. That's where the Bessie Awards, which I all hope that you attend on Friday, where we're honoring women of impact in the travel industry and women who are creators in the travel industry, that's where it comes into play. And then next year, 2022, we actually have our very first festival called Wanderfest. We're all going outside. We're going to be in New Orleans. We have inspiring speakers and music and a woman-owned vendor section and a parade down the French Quarter that we're doing and all sorts of fun things. And all of these events and activities combined to create a space that all started from a blog. And so in this session, what I want to do is give you some of the guidance that I have learned through doing since 2009 when my blog first started, help cut out some of the middle pieces, because starting a blog now is very different than it was starting a blog in 2009. Answer all those questions that you have and get you on your way. So get your pen, get your paper. Other great comment about this is being recorded. So if you're watching the recording, you have the luxury of being able to fast forward through my rambling and jump to where you want to go. But also, if you're watching this live, you can come back to this anytime. Whatever link that you're watching this on right now, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, come back to this link whenever you want, and you can watch this whole recording all over again and get everything that you need. So don't feel like you need to pick it all up right now because it'll be here. But use the time, if you are watching live, use the time that you have me because I can answer your questions in real time. Okay, so that's about me. Now let's talk about you. Why are you here, right? Maybe you're thinking of starting a blog. Maybe you're in those beginning phases. Maybe you're kind of looking for a refresher. I saw some good comments in there. Maybe you're transitioning you started on a different channel and now you want to build a blog a little bit more. Whatever the reason, this is hopefully going to give you some help. So let's dive into what these steps are. There's 8 of them, and each one is really important. And the very first one that you need to do when you're thinking about starting a blog or you're starting a blog is to decide what you're going to blog about, which sounds like a very simple and basic tip. But I will tell you, it is not. It actually can be really hard. Is there anyone here who's actually not sure what they want to blog about, or they feel this desire to actually do something, but then they're kind of like, I'm not really sure exactly what the topic will be? It happens. And I want to, no, I don't want to give you everything. I want you to think, as you're thinking about this, of what your overall purpose is. Why are you here? Whether that's why are you here in the world as a human? Whether it's why do you feel this desire to write something, right? Is there something that you're really passionate about in your life? This is the purpose of your blog. This is the purpose of you as a blogger. And I'm going to give you a couple other things to reflect on. Oh yes, obsessed with choosing the right niche. This is the hardest part. Everyone's saying this is the hardest part. Okay, well then maybe it gets easier from here, right? You just have to figure out what it is, and then it gets easier. So here's what to think about. Think about what inspires you. Okay, So what do you want to write about? If you can think of 25 things that you could write about in this moment, start thinking about topics. Okay, maybe I want to write about, environmental sustainability. Sit down and think, can I write 25 articles right now on that topic? Can I think of, if you can think of 200, it actually might be too big of a topic. You might have too many ideas. You might need to hone it down a little bit more, because you don't want to have it be like so overflowing with ideas that, you're just going to be overwhelmed all the time. You do want to be able to have a bit of a focused niche. So think about what inspires you. Think about what kinds of topics you can already think of. Think about, what are you good at? Okay. So whether it's part of your professional journey, whether it's something that you've always found yourself pretty decent at, what are you very skilled at that you could legitimately provide advice on? Maybe something that you read a lot about, or something that you tend to seek out whenever you're going on a trip that you could really lean into and focus on, so that then you could become an expert, right? Because one of the things that happens when you start a blog is you become sort of a self-proclaimed expert in that space. And so make sure that you actually can give some sort of expertise about it. You don't have to be perfect yet, but nobody has to be perfect. The other thing I think that's really important, this is not just about finding something that you love or finding something that you want to write about. You also want to think about what the market needs. So that's our business terminology here. I have an MBA, so I'm going to go into business sometimes. What does the market need, right? Maybe you're thinking about writing about Paris, and then you look online and you realize there's already 1,000 bajillion blogs about Paris out there. Are you the right person to start another blog about Paris? You might be. But really go into that critically of, do people need this? Is there enough out there? And is there too much out there? And am I the person who fulfills this? Now, I saw somebody in the comments talking about imposter syndrome. Actually, one thing that I read that I thought was really interesting was, for women, if you have experience, and in this particular case, it was also talking about education. For women, the more experienced and the more educated you are, the more you have imposter syndrome. For men, it's actually the opposite. The more experienced and more educated you are for men, the less imposter syndrome you have. But I say this because, as I know, a lot of us who are watching this are women. And I think as we lean into this niche, as we try to put ourselves in this space of being a proclaimed expert, the amount of imposter syndrome you're going to feel of, well, am I actually the right person to be talking about this? It's going to increase rather than decrease. So give yourself a little bit of patience. Understand that, no, you're not going to be perfect unless you have a triple PhD in the topic that you're going to be writing about. You don't have to be 100% perfect. You as a blogger are learning. That's the great thing about being a blogger, is you're kind of the citizen journalist, right? You're in front of something, you're learning about something along with your reader. And that's okay to do that too, as long as you have a little bit of that self-awareness. So think about what the market needs and what it's looking for, what you can't already find easily, but then what is really interesting to you. Michelle says, I'm very high anxiety type A. My niche is detailing the travel process down to the most minute details, step by step, getting a passport, step by step, going through travel checkpoints. That is so funny that you say this in the context of, I'm high anxiety and I'm type A. I consider that a superpower. I think that is your superpower, is that you can even think down to those details, because I'm just like, I'm going to show up. I literally showed up in Iceland last year and I thought to myself, I don't even know what the currency is here. And I was like fiercely Googling, what's the exchange rate? And, and I had already arrived. So for somebody who can think through every detail and document that to your audience, that's a superpower. And I think that's something that you should really lean into. Zelia, sorry if I'm saying your name incorrectly. It feels like every travel niche is already taken, so I've just frozen and haven't started the blog. Okay, travel is a growing space, and there are a lot of travel blogs out there. I think you also, I'm telling you, look for what the market needs, but I also want to say that there might be a lot of blogs about something, but if you can provide a different perspective or a different angle to that topic, that is just as valuable as, trying to think of like a topic that nobody's ever talked about before, right? So leaning into what makes you different. So kind of even looking at Michelle, for example, maybe she ends up writing about, maybe she writes about travel to Paris, but her focus is so minute and so detailed that she stands out. That is a really great way to think about this. So having that self-awareness of how are you going to present your information, and can it change? Absolutely. So let's talk through broad versus niche. I'm going to just skim this because I want to make sure we have time for the other stuff. A lot of people who started blogs 10 years ago kind of went broad. They just talked about travel. Now going niche is really important. When I say niche, I mean honing into as specific as the topic you can get to. Again, thinking of, 25 articles that you could write right away rather than 1,000. Because if you do that, if you focus a little bit more specific with your blog topic, then you're going to be considered more quickly an expert in that space. You're going to become an expert in that space. You'll have more speaking and guest posting gigs if you're looking for them. Google will have an easier time finding you, which is going to increase your search engine optimization. We'll talk about that. You'll be better known for that topic. So really, if you can even ease in a little bit more to a topic like a subtopic in travel. One of my favorite subtopics, I don't think she's here, but it's Mel Had Tea. Mel, I forgot what your last name is, based out of Nova Scotia. Her niche is tea and travel. So whenever she travels, she goes and she visits tea farms, and she goes tea tasting and goes to a cafe, and she writes about, what teas are created here and why and how, and she interviews people. And what a cool niche to focus on. I would never think that, tea could be something I could write a whole blog about. But then when you think about it, there's so many different angles and so many different ways to talk about travel. She's still talking about places to go and things to do, but she's doing it in a different context. So thinking about going niche is really good. Thinking about what your superpower is really good. Okay, lesson 2, because remember, we've got 8 of these. So let's bust through this a little bit more. Number 2, possibly as hard as lesson 1. I don't want to scare you, but lesson 2 is important and can be challenging too. If you are the kind of person who knows the name before you know anything else, my hat off to you. Sometimes that can just be everything. If you're like, I already know what this is going to be called and I'm ready to go, is fantastic. If you're not there yet, trying to think of what your blog is going to be called can sometimes be the thing that keeps you up at night, because you're like, oh God, I want it to be really cute, but I also don't want it to be, too boring, but I want to make sure that people remember it, but I don't want it to be too hard to spell. So what do I do? So let's talk about some of the quick top-down things that you want to think of. Make it short and catchy, right? Make it really easy to remember. Make it easy to spell. If you're creating something that's very elaborate, but then kind of hard to spell, think about when people are saying, what's your blog called? And you having to say it out loud, you having to type it, you having to dictate it to somebody else and they have to type it. If they're misspelling your blog all the time, that's lost traffic, right? That's lost recognition, that's lost traffic, that's lost speaking opportunities. Try to avoid any special characters or numbers or things that are going to make your title a little bit more complicated, unless it's like a cute and really important part of it. A couple of examples of some of my favorite titles that are easy. Mommy Poppins, if you've ever been on that blog, it's all about parenting and finding fun things to do in different cities. And she's kind of using the Mary Poppins reference that many of us may know, of this kind of magical, fun, really cool, nanny, but then also mommy, and having mommy be that fun and cool person. We already know who Mommy Poppins is, even though we've never heard of her before. So what a really cool way to do that. The travel curve is another one that I really love. That's out of our community, and she focuses on plus size travel. And I love that she's using this word curve, but she's using it to describe a travel experience. And yet that meaning communicates when she says, oh, this is about plus size women who are traveling. I totally get it. And I'm going to remember this. And the points guy is a simplistic version of this. And I think you have to be careful not to make your blog too too general and too basic. But when he started this blog, there was no other points guy. He kind of branded himself as the points guy. And now we all know who he is and we know who his blog is. And it's easy and catchy and we think of it quickly and it's fast. So those are great. A question I get a lot is, should I use my own name for my blog? Oh my gosh, I love this. Misha on Place. I'm looking at the comments now. I always forget to do that. Oh, and Lakira asked the question that I'm about to answer right now. This is perfect. So some people ask me, should I use my own name for my blog? Should I call it, Beth Santos and just be done with that? And that choice is up to you. So here's the pros and cons. The pros, your name probably won't change that much, or maybe it'll only change once. That's actually a big downside. If you expect that your name might change at some point, maybe you get married, maybe you hated your first name and you wanted to change it, just remember that then your name isn't going to be the same as your blog. So it can be confusing. So, think about that and kind of not to be like, think about what your life is going to be like, but, think about what your life is going to be like. Another pro is it can be nice and straightforward, right? There is no special. Go to bethsantos.com. My website is bethsantos.com, and it's great for PR. People know where to find me. There's not any doubt about that. And the other really nice thing is that if I change interests, I can change my blog topic, right? It's all Beth Santos. So I can talk about travel. And then the next day I can talk about business. And the next day I can talk about my kids. The downside of that is that you might not you are relying on your own personal brand very heavily. And I think if you have an established business or something that people are already following you for, I think it's a lot easier to transition that into a blog based on your name because you already have that recognition. People already know you for something. If you're trying to build it up from scratch, it can be a lot trickier because there's nothing that's telling people that Beth Santos is going to teach you about travel and business and whatever else. I don't already have that brand reputation. So even though it will be kind of a safer bet over the years and a more long-term bet, it's also going to be harder to build that initial audience because people won't know what they're coming to you for. Iris her blog is called A Curious Bowl. I love that food travel blog. That's really, really cute. Sojourners is called Sojourneys, which that is actually a really good one. So she's doing a play on words that uses both her name and a play on travel. So that actually is like a perfect communication. And Sojourner, you just hit on one of the things that I wanted to mention as well, which is what I forgot the exact term, but it's like meaningless words. And these are words that are, that don't actually exist, but when you hear them, you know what they mean. Like wonderful. Wonderful doesn't exist. You can't find it in the dictionary. But we understand that it's sort of a play on wandering and being wonderful. No Madness does a really nice one with this too. They're playing on nomad and madness and kind of fusing it together. So if you can think of a word that doesn't actually exist, Sojourneys, excellent job, Sojourner. That is going to be really helpful for you for a few reasons. One, people will remember it. Two, it might be open for trademark. We're going to talk about that now. Three, it's unique. Four, you're going to get those social media handles. So that's the next thing you want to think about is making sure that the name is available. Before you decide on anything, please, please, please go to Name Checker. And if you're in the US, go to the US Patent and Trademark Office in whatever your home country. I'm sure there's something that's similar to that. Check and see if anybody has a trademark on that name already. Check and see if you can get the same handle on everything. So look at, she'swanderful.com, at She's Wonderful on Instagram, at She's Wonderful on Facebook, at She's Wonderful on Twitter, all the same, so that you never have to say, if somebody's going, oh, how do I follow you? You're not like, well, on Facebook, I'm at Beth is awesome, but on Twitter, I'm Maximum Beth, but on Instagram, I'm Nora's mom, and then it's just like people don't know where to find you. So make sure that it can be consistent, make sure that's available and somebody doesn't already own it. If your name has been taken, try something different, maybe a different domain extension, maybe a modifier. Maybe you're changing the verb a little bit in the word. So it's not, a blog called What Mommy Needs. It's What Mommy Does. Try a different language, or just go back to the drawing board. Okay, lesson 3. Get your blog online. And there's so many good comments here. And if you are not commenting, make sure you're looking at the comments because they are such good, how do I say this? Such good comments on what I'm doing, such good feedback. And I love that you're all sharing this with people and helping each other. And if you have a thought about a name, maybe you're thinking, I don't really know what my name should be. Put it in the comments and have people help brainstorm with you. Let's do this now. Okay, let's get your blog online. So in order to start your blog, there's 2 things that you're going to need. Now you've got the name. Now you've got the what it's going to be about. Now you actually have to put it somewhere. So there's 2 things you need. 1 is a web host, and 2 is your blogging platform. So for those of you, and let me know if this is helpful to you, we can spend a little time on it. If you're like, I already get this, let me know and we can move faster. The best way to think about this is your web host is like the apartment complex that you're purchasing, that you're renting your apartment in, right? So your web host is going to host your blog. Your blog is your apartment. It's what's living in the web host. So when you're paying for web hosting, you're getting the snow removal, you're getting your maintenance, you're getting, trash removal, that sort of thing you're paying for. Same with your blog. You're getting storage. You're probably getting backup services. You're having a place to put it. Then your platform itself is where you live. It's your own home space. You can paint the walls. You can have people over. You can decorate it however you want to decorate it. It's yours and it lives on your web host. So when you're picking a web host, here's a couple that I would recommend. Performance Foundry is a great member of our community and does some fantastic work. SiteGround, I love their customer service. It's just top notch. Bluehost is also up there. So you'll want to make a decision about who's going to be your web host. And I think those are 3 good ones to start. There are all sorts of other ones that are out there. Then you want to pick your platform. So you might have heard the WordPress versus Squarespace debate. So tell me, everybody, are you using WordPress? Are you using Squarespace? Where are you? I want to hear it. Who's doing what? Barbara, yes, this will be available to review afterwards. We will have the recording. Yes, Wanderful just commented. We have the recordings that you can watch all of this. You'll be able to rewind and fast forward. Just use the link that you're using to watch this now. Okay, Katie's on WordPress. Deborah's on WordPress. The Smart Tourist is on WordPress. Tess is on Squarespace. Triple F is on Squarespace. And Jana's on Squarespace. So Journa's on WordPress. Oh my gosh, we're all messed. Everybody is on a different platform. So these are the 2 that you're probably going to be on. There are other ones out there. But I would recommend if you're just looking to get started, I would say start with one of these 2. Carla said, what was after Bluehost? SiteGround. I'm just going back to that one for her. Performance Foundry, Bluehost, and SiteGround. Those are the top 3 I'd recommend. WordPress and Squarespace. So here's the difference between them. WordPress is a blogging platform. It's been around for a long time. It is very dedicated to blogging. And because of that, it's also dedicated to the written word and getting your blog found by search engines. That's SEO, making sure that when somebody searches for travel and tea, they're going to come across Mel's site. And then so a couple of downsides. It is a bit of a steeper learning curve. The back end is a little bit confusing if you've never used it before. It's not as intuitive. You will need to get a separate web host. So you'll have to go to Performance Foundry or SiteGround or Bluehost and purchase web hosting and then go onto WordPress. The upside is WordPress is free, especially WordPress.org, which is the one that you would want if you're going to try to make any money off of your blog. That's going to allow you to have ads on your space. It's going to allow you to modify your blog a little bit. Now, Squarespace is newer. It's much more intuitive. You've got a lot of more easy kind of visual changes that you can make. The designs are really strong. The downside is that it's not as robust for blogging because it's built for many other things. People use Squarespace for landing pages. They use it for their businesses, for their coffee shops, for their, consulting firms, whatever. So they're not specifically optimized for blogging, but they do have really great design. And you don't actually have to get a web host when you go onto Squarespace. They do their own web hosting. So you're paying a monthly or annual fee for Squarespace. And then you don't have to install your web host with it. With WordPress, you do. And sometimes it's kind of okay, it's just another step, right? You have to go through the installation. Yeah, Edie says she has WordPress, but it hurts her brain. Casey's on Wix. Wix is another good option. And Wix is kind of, I would put that in the Squarespace bucket of something that's a little bit more focused on visual design and intuition, but not specifically optimized for blogging because they do other things. So there you go. Good comments happening. Lesson 4. We have 10 minutes and I have to get through all these other lessons. So let's chop, Beth. Customize your blog. Okay, so quick things to know about actually customizing your blog and how they work. Blogs work differently from other websites that you might build. So there's 2 things that you want to do. The first is finding a template that's right for you. So in the space of self-awareness that you're going to be in, right? What am I actually creating my blog for? You also want to think about what actual functionality do I want on my blog that people can use, right? So why are people engaging with my blog? Do I want to have a lot of photography? Because if I'm going to do that, I need to have full page sweeping layouts with beautiful spaces for pictures, Am I going to have a lot of people sharing their expertise? In that case, you might want to have a theme that has really nice, and that's what you call your template, your theme. Really nice author bio section with a nice picture of the author and all of their social channels and that kind of thing. These are things that are already pre-built out when you get your theme in place. You can kind of play with them and interchange them. You don't have to always stick with one. You can always update it, but getting that onto your site is going to be that first step. Then the second step is customizing it, right? So painting the walls. Here's just a quick look at what those themes look like. Again, Squarespace is all in-house. WordPress, you might go to a platform like this one is themeforest.com or .net, maybe .net. Just Google ThemeForest, and you can find all different kind of third-party templates that you can then integrate. But once you have your template, there's 2 different types of pages that you're going to be interacting with. There's static pages, which are, your About Me page, your contact page. These are static places, probably in your navigation bar somewhere that people can go to that don't change. Then your blog posts are dynamic pages. Those are things that are going to always evolve, and they will shift usually chronologically when you put in new content. So if you have something that you always want it to stay there, like how to work with me and never get pushed down the line, then you want to create a page. If you are looking for something that is, my recent trip to Russia, that's a post, and that's going to be more of a dynamic piece of content. 5 things you want to put on your 5 static pages you want to have. And this you'll want to do some more Googling for. And we actually have some sessions in the Wanderful member community about some of these things. So About Me, obviously, really good About Me page, who you are, what you're writing about, why you're important, all the things that you figured out in lesson 2. How to work with me if you are going to be doing this for a business, the types of work that I do, how that's helpful to you, possibly even a rate sheet, certainly a media kit. And then 3 legal documents. 1 is a disclaimer. That is if you're that's actually in the US, that's law. Now you have to have a disclaimer, and you have to mention that disclaimer in any of your posts if you are working with a paid advertiser. So if you go on a free press trip or if you're given money for anything, you need to have a disclaimer statement that says, I have been offered money for this, but it is not affecting what I'm writing. Your privacy policy, that's going to be about the information that people might give you on your site. If they're logging in somewhere, if they're providing their email, what you're going to do with their information. And then your terms and conditions, which is all about how your site works, and who can engage with it and why, and all of the legal conditions of how your site operates. So those are 3 really important things. You can find templates. If you do want to have a template, these are legal documents. So if you know a lawyer or if you want to hire a lawyer, that is the by far best option to get these documents underway. A lot of attorneys have these already built out and can just customize for you, but you do want to make sure that they're on your site. Looking at questions really quickly. Can you easily set up Squarespace for setting up advertisers on your blog? Oh, I think so. Somebody weigh in too if how much advertising, because I don't do any advertising on my Squarespace pages, so I'm not 100% sure, but you certainly can manually. WordPress does have a lot of plugins that allow you to just kind of plug and chug advertisements, but also Karisma, I know you use Squarespace a lot and I see that you're watching, so if you want to weigh in, feel free to just jump in on that. But otherwise, people in the comments, feel free. I imagine that you can. It might just be more manual. Casey, are disclaimers and privacy policies standardized? Yeah, so you can find an online template. You just have to know that they're standardized to a degree, right? Every blog is going to be a little bit different. Maybe you interact with your user a little bit differently. Maybe you're asking for a little bit different information. Maybe you're engaging with advertisers in a little bit of a different way. So you're just going to want to make sure that you can read through that template and make those changes. And you might feel like you want somebody who is a legal speaker, to be able to do those changes for you. It usually doesn't cost too much to have somebody make those modifications, but you can do it yourself if you need to and want to. Okay, homepage. We're going to skip over this. We can talk about it another time. I think we all know that the homepage is the main page of your site. Sometimes it's dynamically, it's just all the posts all in order. And now more and more, they're much more visual and you can actually design your homepage how you like. So both of those things, I think just depending on whatever theme you have, you'll be able to make those choices. And those are some of the questions you want to ask when you are looking at themes, or ask to yourself, and you can preview them. So that can help you to see, okay, what are some of the things that I can actually change in this theme? What are things that are not changeable? In WordPress, less so in Squarespace, but in WordPress, you can hard code stuff. So if you see something that maybe you would like to change that doesn't exist on that theme, you can then go into something like Upwork, which is a website to hire freelancers and contractors. You can hire somebody who knows code and they can just hard code it into your site. So it's not a be all end all if your site doesn't have what you want. Quick design tips. Get your logo. Some good places to go. 99 Designs, Fiverr. You can also design one yourself with Canva. You can do it with Tailor Brands. You could do it with Microsoft Paint. It doesn't really matter, but just get a logo for yourself. Pick a color scheme. Coolers is a really neat website if you haven't seen it. If there's one color that you love, it'll help you pick like a 5-color scheme. And all you have to do is just press a button and see what you like and what you don't like. Decide on your fonts. So actually have a little bit of a design library here, right? What are my fonts? What are my brand colors? What does my logo look like so that it's all consistent? Lesson 5. Oh my gosh, I don't have time. Queue up your content. So get your content in order. Think about how often you're posting. Think about what your voice is. Are you funny? Are you inspiring? Are you serious? Think about how long your posts are going to be. And then make sure, this is actually just kind of really quick, this is how a blog post is going to look. Usually you have a headline, you have some sort of catchy photo. There's an introduction that can often be an excerpt for your post. You've got your main points, you have a conclusion, and then the thing that's really special about blog posts is some sort of call to action. Post in the comments, share this. Here's a Pinterest post for you to share. Whatever it is you're asking your reader to do, activate them. Okay. How to create good content. Number 1, most important thing, before you hit publish, have some posts ready to go. Have 3 to 5, maybe even 10 posts ready to launch your site so that you're not constantly having to, come up with content that moment. The writing process can be rough. And sometimes when we, feel the pressure to write, but we don't have time, you want to be posting consistently and you can schedule, which is great. So make sure you have a bit of a backlog so that you can keep that consistent posting schedule, even if you don't necessarily feel super inspired at any moment of time. Sorry. No, hold on. Keep your paragraphs super short. I was formally trained, as we all were, in how to write correctly and how to be grammatical in school. Throw that out the window. They tell you, paragraphs must have 2 to 3 sentences each. Paragraphs now have maybe 1 sentence, maybe 2. You want to make it really chopped up and visually clean so that people can read easily. Use bullets and numbering. Create subheaders so that you're kind of dividing your content. Put pictures in between different sections of your blog post, even if it's not a super long blog post. Link outside, link inside. So link to other sources and link to your own blog content. And definitely, look at making sure you're having some good photography in there. There's great stock photos out there. Upwork and Pexels are the ones that are most well known, but there's also some incredible libraries to use. I'd love for you all to make recommendations of those libraries in the comments, but taking your own photos is, of course, the best, right? Because nobody will have those photos. So use that. Your email list is, in my opinion, the most important part of your blog besides your content. This is because having your email list, when you collect emails, you own that information. When you have a really big Facebook presence, you don't own the information. Facebook owns all of that. So if Facebook were to shut down one day, all of the Facebook followers that you had, you would lose. And same with any other social channel. So building up an email list for yourself, that's something that somebody can't take away from you. And you can use that email list to tell your followers about new articles, about new opportunities. You can use it to build a business. You can use it to get speaking gigs, because you can say, hey, when I speak for you, not only am I going to provide information for your company, but I'm also going to share your company with 5,000 people that are on my email list. So you can leverage that because these people have opted in to hear from you and they want to hear from you. Your email list is yours. Think about that strategy just like you would with your blog. How often are you sending out emails? What is it going to look like? What is your voice in your email? Is it the same as your blog? How long are the posts? So start looking at other people's email lists and seeing how they do it and how they organize it. And then let me just give you some platforms to look at. ConvertKit is the most intense of the 3 here. By intense, I mean excellent analytics, very detailed automation flows, not as great in terms of visual, design, focus, plug and play, also a little bit more expensive. MailChimp has a nice drag and drop design. They have solid analytics. We used to use MailChimp and we moved to ConvertKit because we needed to have more robust automations, but we were on MailChimp for a while and had no problem with it. Thought it was pretty much fine. The other one that I wanted to point out, because I think it's absolutely fascinating, is Flowdesk, which is new and it's gorgeous. And it's a woman-owned business, and we always like to support women-owned. And absolutely gorgeous and stunning. Their functionality is a little bit less than you're going to find in other email platforms because they are newer. But the other thing I like about them is they have a fixed monthly rate. It's like $39 a month, and it just stays $39 a month forever, no matter how many subscribers you have. The other two, they're going to tier your pricing based on how many subscribers that you have. So check them all out. Easy as 1, 2, 3. Set up a good welcome series. Create a lead magnet. This is more intermediate level, so we'll talk about it at another training for you. Set up a reason why people are going to sign up for your email list. That's your lead magnet. And number 3, make sure that on your homepage and on your blog, there are lots of different places, at least 3 in any given frame of your site, 3 places where people can sign up for your newsletter so that it's always there. Maybe there's a pop-up. Maybe if you don't like pop-ups, it's in your navigation bar. Maybe it's in your sidebar. Maybe it's inside your content. Wherever you're putting that, make sure that there are a lot of different ways for people to sign up. Okay, we're going to skip that. 2 more, and then we're done. Karisma, I promise it'll be fast. Number 1, promote your blog. Well, number 7, really. Promote your blog. Here's how to get more people to read your blog. This is fast. Number 1, tell everybody as soon as your blog is ready to go. Email everybody. Email your parents, email your high school friends, email your neighbors. Let them all know. Alert your inner circle and tell them to spread the word. Tell them to share it with somebody who they think would really benefit from your content. 2, actually use social media, right? So pick out what platforms are right for you. Do you have to sign up for every single platform? No. Should you sign up for every single platform? Maybe. Should you use every platform that you sign up for? No. So the reason I say that is because, to the point I made earlier of picking your name, it is a good idea to reserve all of the handles on social media for your name, whether or not you plan to use those handles, because then nobody else can take them, right? No one else can claim it, and then it'd be confusing. But I do not think you should spend your time on more than 3 social platforms. Figure out what the 3 ones are max that are most important for you, and spend your time on that and leave the rest of the stuff behind. You don't need to be spending a lot of time on that. Triple F Photo Tours asked, what's the average word length for a blog post? I wouldn't do anything less than 500 words. I like to go into the 800 to 1,000 words. I wouldn't do more than 2,000 unless you're doing a long form. It just depends on what you're writing and what kind of style you have. You might be a long form blogger, and that's how you do it. You might have really short, quick clips, and that's okay too. Just make sure that you have purpose and reason for that, and that it's consistent. So yes, get that username, but you don't necessarily have to use it. Number 3, show love on other blogs, comment on other people's blogs, right? Go there and engage with their stuff, because then they'll engage with your stuff. So be part, blogging is a community, just like any other social media is, just like, if you're coming from other places in the world, going into other people's blogs and commenting on stuff, they're going to see that you commented. They're going to go to your blog and engage with your stuff. So show some love. Collaborate. Message other bloggers, offer a guest post, ask them to guest post on your blog, share links to each other's blogs in between. Google loves that. And your readers are going to love that, because now you're introducing them to somebody really fantastic. Your level of trust that they have in you is increasing. Their level of willingness to work with you is increasing. So find ways to collaborate. And number 5, optimize your SEO, search engine optimization. This is a whole other session. This is like intermediate to / advanced level content here. But, and that actually, we do have sessions in the Wanderful membership portal for those who are members. You can find recordings on SEO in there. But there's a whole science to how to get Google and other search engines to find you. And a lot of it has to do with having really good keywords, knowing what your niche is, using your subheaders successfully, etc. So take an SEO class and learn that, but you don't have to do that right away. And lesson 8, see, I'm only going to be like 5-10 minutes over. See, Marissa's like, this is why we built a buffer for you, Beth, because you talk so much. Grow, grow, grow. Lesson 8. That's the most important. Okay. I've literally just said every session is the most important one. So you can see how excited I get about this, but this one's really good too. And it's not just investing in your blog. It's investing in you as a blogger. It's investing in you as a thought leader, as somebody who is putting your message out into the world, because that's the thing that you're really doing here. So put yourself out into the world, go to events and network at them. Come to WITS. Karisma was already talking about this. Come to our in-person WITS. See us in Kansas City, see us in Gdańsk. Go to some of these other ones. Audacity is put on by No Madness. It's fantastic. They've been doing a digital series lately. TravelCon and TBEX are other conferences focused on travel content creators. So that's very specific. Wanderfest, I already told you about. And we got a little bit of love for it. That's more of a consumer show. It's not so blogger focused, but you're going to meet a lot of other travel lovers and kind of build that awareness. Some other blogging conferences that are really great. Blog Her is enormous, and they talk about all different topics related to blogging. Mom 2.0, you don't have to be a mom to go, but if you are one, then you're going to get even more out of it. Alt Summit. And then Travel and Adventure Show is, they're working hard to get more and more content creators and media there. They have like a whole media couple hours before everybody else comes in. So you could go and meet the exhibitors and see how to work with them. So that might be, even, if it's not like a blogging specific event, if you can sort of make your case of how you can create value for them and you want to do something like that, that's a great one to go. Or just go and get content if you're not, working with anybody or wanting to work with anybody. Make the most out of WITS. You are here, and I'm talking about this WITS right now. So if you have a ticket, if you have a free ticket, use the comment section when you're joining us on Friday and Saturday. Comment, connect with other people, provide feedback. If you have an upgraded ticket, come to the meetups, sign up for mentor meetings, really make the most out of this experience, and always share your lessons on social, because the number of times people make friends with other people on social media alone, just because they're sharing interesting tidbits with each other and participating in conversations with each other, that's it's incredible. So don't just let yourself sit in a vacuum here. Share this information with others and you will make contacts. And when you do make contacts, you should have, I really truly believe in business cards. I think even if your blog is literally just for fun and you never want to build a business out of it, having a card that you can pass on to somebody and you know, when you meet them, Vistaprint, Moo, Gotprint, even Canva prints cards now, use those. I would also say the power of LinkedIn these days is strong. So if you, in addition to your business card, get your LinkedIn profile going, if you don't have one yet, that's a great way for you to build that recognition. Whether it's for your blog or whether it's for, I'm talking about you specifically, you know, you can talk about your blog in there. You can share your blog posts on LinkedIn, especially if there are things that the travel industry might be interested in learning about. So don't forget the power. And then join a community. This is a list of Facebook groups that you can join. Of course, I put Wanderful membership at the top of it. I know Karisma is going to talk with you guys about that a little bit more, so you get a better sense of what that is. We have a Facebook group called Women Travel Creators that you can join, whatever level of creator you are. There are other really good ones out there, like Your Blog, Your Business, Make Traffic Happen. Jessie on a Journey has one called the Travel Creator Community. So join a community. They do threads where they're sharing blog posts. They do all different things where they can help each other out. And again, being part of that network and being part of that community, that makes a big difference when you are trying to get your blog out there. And finally, last but not least, can I just say to have fun? And I know this sounds like just a thing that people say and, you know, oh, have fun, don't worry about it. But here's the thing about having fun. When you are a blogger, you are also, in my opinion, you're an entrepreneur. You're building something, you're creating something, whatever the reason for you to do it is, you are putting something into the universe that didn't exist before. It takes a lot of work. You have to be organized. You have to be able to speak up for yourself. You need to be able to talk about yourself. You absolutely can do it. But the moment it becomes exhausting and stressful and doesn't fuel you and get you excited, that's the moment when you want to take a step back and go, is this something that I want to continue with or not? Because at the end of the day, this should be something that lifts you. And this should be something, I think, when you have a blog that you feel really passionately about, that shines through so much to your reader. Your reader knows that this is something that you love and that you live for. And this is where I think the opportunities come, because we all know if you're doing something that you hate, everybody knows. So make sure that this is something that you enjoy. And if it's not something that you enjoy, it's totally okay to just say, you know what, I'm done with that. I'm moving on. Because there are lessons that you can take from that to apply to other things. This can be an ever evolving project for you. And the last thing that you want to do is not feel stuck, right? To feel like you can't constantly be changing and doing new things and doing differently things. So have fun, lean into the things that make you feel really passionate, lean into the things that you're good at, like we were talking about in lessons 1 and 2, something that you're good at, something that you feel like you're an expert in, and enjoy the ride, because it's an amazing ride. Thank you, everyone, so much for being willing to hear me talk for so long. Marissa, Karisma, I'm so sorry it went over, but I hope this has been helpful. Find me on social. I'd love to hear from you. My own personal handle is Maximum Beth. She's Wanderful and WITS Summit. Those are the WITS and Wanderful handles. Keep helping each other and sharing with each other. I know you're going to have a great rest of your beginner bootcamp. I hope this has given you a good start. Watch the video again so you can catch all the things you missed, because there's so much. And good luck, everybody. I can't wait to hear more about all of the amazing businesses and blogs and creations that you make.
Okay, so I have to tell you, I didn't even realize that we were going over time until you mentioned it.
I'm like, I'm going over.
So I'm not a note taker when it comes to being online, but I screenshot. So I'm like constantly hitting the buttons.
That is smart.
You gave away so many great goat nuggets and I'm sure everyone that has a blog or has been creating before can say that they still learned a lot of information. So thank you, because that was very, very much needed.
You're so welcome. Good luck, everybody. Thanks, Karisma.
Thank you. All right. So with that said, I know Beth was talking about the community. And so I just want to take a few moments before we head on to a break and share with you guys my love for travel, and also share with you the amazing community, Wanderful, where it's a community where you join a travel community that's thousands of members strong. So I remember like it was yesterday, walking through the doors of WITS, realizing that I had walked into something special. I had walked into something magical. And with that said, I didn't realize that it was going to grow from WITS to be a community that I can connect with no matter where I was in the world. So I'm just going to go over a little bit about how the community works, because some of you have never been a part of the community. And I think when you really understand the magic of what you've walked into, that I'm confident that I'm going to see most of you, if not all of you, inside of the Wanderful community after today. So here's how it works. Wanderful is an international community of women who love to travel. And when you become part of the sisterhood, you get instant access to women around the world to meet up with on your next adventure, host you in their home, or give you solid travel tips and advice. Plus, you'll be able to attend daily online events to help you feed your love of travel, even when you're not on the road. And when I say online events, the value of events, the quantity and the quality of events that are inside of there, I would pay my membership over and over and over again if I had the opportunity, because that information and the resources, the tools, the classes that are inside, not just for the creator membership, but for the travelers as well, it is far beyond worth what it is that you're paying either for a monthly membership or for an annual membership. And to attest for that, we're over 3,000 members strong and continuously growing every single day. So maybe you're here because you're always thinking about the next trip sometimes, or even before the first one is over. That's me. Or you're ready to meet your soul sisters who really do want to know how your last trip was. I'm always trying to talk about someone's last trip so that they can inspire me on the next one, or I can share with them my trip and inspire them on the next one, or maybe on their first one. Or maybe you want the confidence to travel by yourself, or a great travel buddy to keep you company. So this one's my favorite, and I'm actually going to stop here and go into a little story, because being a part of this community, it gives you the ability to travel the world alone, but you're never alone. You always have the ability to plug into someone. And just by the click of opening up your Wanderful community, no matter if you're in Spain, or if you're in Uganda, or if you're in India, or if you're here in the US, there's the ability to actually look up members within 30 to 50 miles of you, and then you can connect with them, find a soul sister to go have lunch with, or go experience the Eiffel Tower with. I actually found it very useful because I've, made friends through it, but most importantly, it gave me peace of mind when I was in another country and I had a not so great experience happen. I was actually in Paris and I had my son with me, and I was solo because my son was younger. In my eyes, I was solo because he was my travel buddy. And I had given him my credit card to grab something to eat. Moments after he walked away, someone walked up to me and said, "Hey, ma'am, did you drop your wallet?" I immediately thought I dropped my wallet, turned around. When I turned back around, all of my luggage was gone. My $10,000 camera was gone. My equipment was gone. My passports were gone. Everything had been taken within a matter of moments. And here I was in another country all by myself with my son, and we hadn't even booked our hotel for that night. So I was a little bit freaked out. So the easiest thing that I thought of was, who can I call? Who do I know? And for a moment there, I got scared because I was like, I'm out here alone. And then my son goes, Mom, you're always talking to your friends through that community. Why don't you just see if someone lives here so that you can connect with them? So that's what I did. I connected with someone through the Wanderful community. And because of that, she was able to share with me a place to stay that night. The next morning, walked with me to the embassy and actually made sure that I got everything taken care of, because I had to get 2 passports. And one of them was quite difficult because I was with a minor that I share custody with someone else. She took us and get something to eat. So she gave us the resources that we need and let us stay until we had, and for 2 days. So I had enough time to get credit cards shipped to another country so I can be safe. This is the type of community that you become a part of. You're not just learning how to create a business. You're not just learning how to travel, but you're really creating soul sistership, this friendships that are unbreakable. And it's sometimes with strangers that are there to have your back no matter where you're at in the world. So we're going to move on to the next one. So maybe you love to make meaningful connections with locals while you're traveling. So again, I said that you can actually connect with people and grab and say, "Hey, I'm in Paris. Who else is here? I would love to connect with someone to grab a bite to eat, or maybe again to go see the Eiffel Tower, or maybe to do anything else that your heart fancies, or maybe they can actually plug you into some local things that are happening that maybe aren't on Instagram, and take you off that beaten path." Maybe you want to feel connected to the world even when you're not going anywhere. So, as many of us experienced during the pandemic, we couldn't go anywhere. And the Wanderful community gave us a sense of travel, a sense of belonging, and a sense of safety and connection, even though we were in our homes, many of us quarantined for a significant amount of time. So, we were still able to travel through our minds and through our connection, even though we were at home. So I love the little quotes that come up, because when you're with part of Wanderful, you're not alone. Thousands have joined us to make lifelong friends and to be able to get the latest travel tips, content creator tips, and the support of sisterhood who can help them. And Anne Kearney from Washington, D.C. shared with us, I joined Wanderful during the Travel and Adventure Show. This community is a warm embrace for the soul. They are the most kind and welcoming people I know. The live workshops are engaging and worthwhile. My favorite workshops are yoga and Spanish. When I have questions, members are eager to thoughtfully reply with their answers. Plus, new friends are added frequently. So we're here to help you build your network, your resources, your business. And there's a wealth of benefits. And I'm just going to go over just a few, because I want you guys to be able to go on a break and enjoy the music that's going to come up after. But some of the traveler benefits includes getting the support that you need from your soul sisters when it comes to traveling. I don't know about all of you, but a lot of my girlfriends didn't want to travel. So I found myself traveling alone, but now I have travel sisters no matter where I'm going. So I get to reach out to them, and we're planning trips together, or we're meeting up in different destinations all over the world. And it makes it so much more fun. You'll be able to travel the world from home. So no matter if you're traveling the world, or if you're home raising some kids, or if you're just taking a little time off, you'll be able to adventure without having to leave the comfort of your own home. And you'll always have someone you know wherever you go. And for all of us that are creators, we're going to be able to connect with other like-minded women that are here to build a business. We can be personal and intimate and get inspired by one another. And then we can join this community and go from survive to thrive. As I shared with all of you, I remember like it was yesterday walking into WITS for the very first time, not really realizing what I walked into. And then a year later, able to create what I like to call a work from anywhere income. That was being a creator, having the ability to be able to make an income no matter what I was in the world, so I can feed my passion for travel. And I tell you guys, I have it bad that I even have a tattoo that says Wanderlust, almost close to wonderful. So we have 2 memberships, as you guys can tell. One is for the traveler, which is $99 a year. Actually, oops, sorry about that. It's either $99 a year, and it's also a a monthly, or you can join the creator for $169 a year or $15 a month. So join the traveler, $99 a year or $9 a month, or join the creator for $169 a year or $15 a month for both. And for those of you that actually joined the full benefits, I believe that's what it's called. Just let me make sure. It's the year of benefits ticket. You're going to actually get a 1-year membership included with that ticket to the actual creator membership, which also includes the traveler membership. So I told you guys at the beginning, we're going to be giving everyone that signs up today for either one of the memberships 30% off. So go ahead and screenshot this now, and because the discount code is bootcamp30, and you're going to join at sheswanderful.com/join. But just heads up, this is not going to be lasting forever. You got 72 hours. So 72 hours from the time that this bootcamp ends today, you'll have 72 hours to go ahead and get started. And I look forward to seeing you all in there, because I've actually set up a very special 1-hour event for us to all connect inside. And any questions that you had from bootcamp today, we'll be able to answer them in a more intimate setting for all of you. In addition, I'm going to be sharing inside of that event all of the other classes that are coming up that I'm going to highly recommend that you guys take, so that you can get some more help with your blog, to show you and give you the tidbits on the instructors and our experts that are in there that can actually get your questions answered and actually connect you with an really amazing attorney that is one of our experts in there as well, to help you on your journey for even creating your business. So there's a wealth of information that you're all going to get when you're inside. And then for the travelers, there's a lot of stuff in there for you too. You can learn a foreign language. You can go and zone out and unwind with some meditation and some mind thought programming that's going on within a meditation, and so much more. So with that said, Marissa, I know you are behind the stage, being the woman taking us through this. If you can go ahead and take my presentation off screen, connect us to some music. And in the meantime, if all of you want to go do a quick restroom break, grab some tea, grab some coffee, grab some snacks, and we'll see you all back here in just a few minutes. Oh, I just got heads up. Okay, we're gonna play one song. So with that one song, go ahead and make those quick adjustments. So I'm guessing meet me back here within the next 2 minutes. See you soon.
Que todo destruye, haya matado mi vieja ilusión. Guardo escondida una esperanza humilde, que es toda la fortuna de mi corazón. Volver con la frente marchita, las nieves del tiempo platearon mi cielo. Sentí que es un soplo la vida, que 20 años no es nada, que febril la mirada, errante en las sombras, te busca y te nombra. Vivir con el alma aferrada a un dulce recuerdo que lloro otra vez.
All right, and we are back. I hope all of you got a chance to head to the ladies' room, grab some tea or coffee, and most importantly, grab a snack. I know for many of you, it's past lunchtime. For me, it's about 10:30 a.m. here in Los Angeles, and for others, I know it's probably the evening, no matter, depending on where you are in the world. So we are moving along. Next up, if you don't already see this beautiful bombshell on the screen already, we're going to introduce you to Justine Abigail Yu. She's a communications and marketing strategist who has worked with organizations operating around the globe. She is currently the communications manager at Wanderful, as well as the founder of Living Hyphen, an emerging magazine that explores the experiences of living in between cultures. Her work has been featured on national and local media outlets, including Yahoo News, Nextshark, CTV, National News, and the CBC. Justine is a fierce advocate for equity, and anti-oppression. And today she's going to be sharing with all of you crafting your unique identity and content. So again, if you didn't have it before, make sure you have something to write with, take some note with, or you can do like I did and do screenshots. So Justine, if you can go ahead and join us on stage and go ahead and take it away.
Hello. Thank you, Karisma. I think I'm in. I see myself.
Yeah. Sorry, I was looking at a screen, so I wasn't looking at.
No, don't worry. All right. I am in. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. I am so glad to be here. And as Karisma mentioned, my chat with you all today, or my talk here, will be about crafting your unique identity and content. I just am going to wait for the slides to go up here. I know, there we go. And this is great because I was watching the comments earlier, and I'm so glad to so glad to read everyone's comments come in and seeing all of the feedback in terms of what names you are all thinking about for your blogs. I also saw some questions about personal branding and how to really hone in on what you're writing about. I know that that was quite the engagement point in Beth's piece. So I'm glad for this opportunity to really dive into that. And so let's not waste any more time here. You all know I'm Justine. I am the communications manager here at Wanderful, as Karisma mentioned, and I am also the founder and editor-in-chief of my baby, Living Hyphen. But we're here to talk about our unique identity. And so what is, or how do you craft your own unique identity for your blog. And so in a nutshell, your unique identity is really your brand. And at the heart of crafting your unique identity and content is really crafting your blogs or your own personal brand. And by now, I'm sure you have heard of branding. I feel like it's become a buzzword and one that has been quite popular over the last few years, but never want to assume. So let's do a quick rundown here. What exactly is branding and brand identity? So brand identity is at the core of your blog's identity. It captures how your brand looks, how it feels, and how it really speaks to people. And so what does that look like in practice? I just wanted to share a few slides here of some popular brands that have really made an impact, I think, on a lot of us, or have become so recognizable for a lot of us. And while we often think about branding from a visual perspective in terms of logos or colors and images, it's really everything that you communicate. And that goes from from the way or how you speak or how you write on your blog to the captions that you use on Instagram or Twitter or whatever social media platform you might be using to promote your work. It's how you write in your email newsletters. It is really the sum total of how your brand looks, how it feels, and how it speaks to its community. And so here I have MailChimp. Beth alluded to it earlier in terms of like the different newsletter, email marketing platforms to use. And they have quite a distinct style here. So you can see, it's kind of fun, it's silly, it's quite bright. And, we have Patagonia, which is another brand that's quite recognizable. And so what I really wanted to hone in here is how your brand and your blog's brand is really about its personality, and it really should convey what you care about. And so, of course, Patagonia is very environmentally conscious in its work, and that really comes through in their branding, not just in terms of the visual elements that they use, but in terms of the content that they push out and the kinds of campaigns that they advocate for or that they push out into the world. We have LaCroix, again, another fun, vibrant, really colorful, very recognizable brand that even if you didn't see their logo, you could kind of tell who it is, or what the brand is. And so those were just some examples that I found that really stood out. Of course, there are so many others, but just to give some examples here. And at the heart of it, branding is really a way to communicate with people, your community especially. It's a way to differentiate yourself from your competition. And it creates a distinct experience that encourages your community to engage with you. And so branding is really at the core of your blog's DNA. And I'm glad to be doing this particular session with you all as beginners, because I think figuring out your brand is really the first, it was even the first step in terms of what do you blog about in Beth's presentation. It's really the first step before jumping into a lot of the other steps. Branding is the core of your blog's DNA. It reflects everything from your values to your content and any other products or services that may eventually spin off from your blog. But that is, later down the road, but it's definitely something to consider or to think about, or at least keep at the back of your mind here. And so how do we determine our personal brand here? So throwing it back to Beth's first step on deciding what to blog about, I'm just reiterating the questions that she actually shared, or the things to think about. And I wanted you all to just take a moment here, and you have your pen, your paper, if you're using your notes on your computer, whatever it is. What is your purpose? What is your blog's purpose? How do you identify, or this is a moment for you to identify what your purpose is. And so these are some key things that Beth talked about. What inspires you? What are you good at? What does the market need? And what are you going to cover, or what are you going to talk about that isn't already easily available online? Being an expert in the travel industry just saying that you're an expert at travel is really, really broad. And to be successful as a blogger or for any business, really, you need to set parameters in terms of what you do, how you do it, and who you're serving. So to begin, we need to think about these questions. And just to remind you all that these slides will be available afterwards. So I have a few exercises here just to jog your mind or your creative juices in terms of developing your own brand. But while I'll ask you to share some of these in the comments, just so that we can have some conversation and to really get this conversation started, this is something that you can always go back to. And of course, it's something that you should spend a lot of time thinking about, especially if it's at the core of your DNA, if it is the foundation of your work and of your blog. It's something that you do need to allocate a lot of time and thought into. And so just wanted to share that. And starting off with an exercise here, a way to help in determining your blog's purpose is this thought exercise. So I want you, again, grab your pen or a document that you're working on, or even just drop it in the comments here. And I want you to picture this. 10 years from now, let's say your blog is on the front page news or on headline news on TV, or however news arrives to us in 10 years. And so you're on front page news for achieving greatness. What does the headline say? Okay. So again, 10 years from now, your blog or your business is on the front page news for achieving greatness. What does the headline say? So some things to consider here, like have you solved a problem with your blog? Have you, through your content, through the way that you share your work, have you changed the way people do something? What would land you the front page headline? What do you want to achieve to get you on that front page? So we can just take a moment here. Again, you can just jot this down in your own notebook privately, or if you do want to share in the comment section, that would be really, really wonderful. Everyone can have an adult gap year. That would be amazing. I love that. Thanks for sharing that on screen. That's great, Deborah. I know this is a big question, especially when you're just first starting out, to think about your blog as a success when you haven't even gotten started yet. But I do believe that having this long-term vision and this grander vision of what you hope to achieve with your blog, with your business, is really integral in driving your identity, the content strategy that you push out there, and all of the pieces here. So again, 10 years from now, your blog is on the front page news. Why is it there? What have you achieved? What problems have you solved? Or how have you changed the way people behave? Stephanie, I love that. Postmenopausal woman still rocking around the world. Yes, love that. Okay. You can feel free to share that in the comments as you think of it. But again, come back to this at any point afterwards just to think about it and just to really figure out what is your blog's purpose. Answering that question of, what you want to achieve with your blog, based on your answers to that headline news piece, you should be able to figure out what your mission statement is. Wanderful's blog and really the whole brand is meant to help all women travel the world, and the blog provides inspiration and information, destination guides, and other tips specifically for women of, varying other intersections of identity. And so that is, all the content that is shaped on the blog is serving this purpose of helping all women travel the world. And that is at the core really of what Wanderful is doing. And so answering that question should help you in this process of developing your mission statement. What is your blog here to do, and who does it serve? And I don't know if you all have answers to this question already. We have some making Turkey a must-see destination from Christina. That's wonderful. Yes. Carla's blog is finding your soul's missing pieces. These are all really great. Thank you for sharing. Yes. All right. And so once you have developed your mission statement and the purpose, you should really, be developing your content strategy around that mission statement and purpose. So any and all the content that you create should be in line with and serve that mission. So if you're ever feeling stuck about a piece you're writing, you should just ask yourself that question. How does it serve your mission? Does it? Is it, let's see what we have here. Making Turkey a must-see destination. Is the content really serving that purpose? And if it doesn't show why Turkey is a must-see destination, what are the ways in which that you can shape it in that way? What are the different angles that you can look at or write about to serve your mission statement? And so again, it's really about honing in on the different angles and really thinking about it from a critical perspective in terms of how does it serve your mission, your blog's purpose? Because, I certainly, when I was first starting off in the travel blogging world, that was very long ago. It was like right after I got out of university. And I was just excited to travel, and go out there. And I would literally blog about anything and everything and just talk about my day, and it's certainly interesting for my mom to read a play-by-play, an hour-by-hour play-by-play in terms of what cafe I went to or what hike I did. But, for the broader public, that's just truthfully, sadly for me, not going to cut it. There does have to be an angle. There has to be a greater purpose or a greater mission to your blog. And all of the content that you create should really be serving that purpose. And so to recap here, we have our purpose and our mission. And another key piece to all of this is finding your voice. Developing your voice and how you write and how you communicate is so key in humanizing your brand and blog, and to really communicate consistently throughout all of your content. And I say humanizing your brand and blog because, we have seen it, like a lot of the brands or the influencers that we connect with are those that are human and authentic and genuine, and I think that's really at the key of why influencers have become as successful and as successful and influential as they have been, because they are humans and they are, the most successful ones. You can really tell their personality. You can feel the authenticity in their work. And so how are you going to cultivate that in your own brand, in your own unique identity and the content that you push out? And so again, just sharing a couple of questions here to trigger some answers or to get your creativity flowing here. So one question to ask when you are developing your voice here: when people interact with your blog, how do you want them to feel? How do you want them to feel? So for example, at Wanderful, we actually did an exercise like this sometime last year, around this time last year, actually, where we answered these questions for ourselves. And I pulled that document up recently. And I know that as a team, we collectively said that at Wanderful, we want our community to feel supported. We want them to feel uplifted. We want them to feel celebrated. And so those key words for us really helps drive all of our communications, not just our blog. Of course, that is key and that is at the center of a lot of our work, but it's also in our email newsletters. In our email newsletters, what are the ways in which we can make our subscribers feel supported and feel uplifted and feel celebrated? That means, including a lot of resources in our curator newsletter, for example, providing a lot of resources to help support creators in our community to develop their blog and their business. And someone is doing construction somewhere in our next door apartment. So I'm sorry if you can hear that, but sorry, I lost track there. But yeah, again, everything that we do is to make our community feel supported, uplifted, and celebrated. You know, so much of our, on our Instagram and on our Facebook, we love to share our own community's work, our different community members, highlighting them on our Instagram, highlighting their blogs and how they have progressed in their journey as bloggers. That's something that we do on a regular basis as well. And so how, again, do you want your community, the people who are interacting with your blog or your business, to feel? I'm seeing some answers here. Empowered, bold, inspired, confident. Yeah, so how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that with your content? Really integrating that into your voice. What adjectives would you use to describe your blog? So again, you can choose 3 to 5 adjectives. And just by way of example here, let's think, you know, if let's say you are an upscale travel blog, you might describe yourself as luxurious, comfortable, sleek, and indulgent. If you are a backpacking blog, you might describe yourself as practical or adventurous or spontaneous or economical. Those are just some examples. But again, thinking about the mission and the purpose of your blog and your business, what are some adjectives you would use to describe how you want to convey all of this? Another way to consider this question in terms of how to develop your voice is thinking about another blog or brand with a voice that you personally love. Are there any blogs that you really admire, that you think are really nailing the way they are speaking to their community or the way that they are presenting themselves to the world? And using that really as more as inspiration for you. You don't need to directly emulate them, but you can identify how and why their voice resonates with you, and let that help guide you again in crafting your own distinct voice. So again, I suggest like coming up with after this session, coming up with a list of, 3 to 5 brands that you really admire, that you think have just nailed their branding. They might be similar to you, they might not be at all, but you can take a look at what they have done and how they speak and how they present themselves, and use that as a guide for yourself. You could even look at something like Apple, which I feel like has really nailed their branding, is always at the top of the list when it comes to talks about branding. They are so sleek. They have really figured out how to communicate their product and their service. And while it's not related necessarily to travel, you can always learn from these different brands and businesses and see what they have done and how they have developed their own voice. And again, just using that as a guide. And some more ideas here, or some more adjectives for people: impactful, strong and secure, in-depth, I like that, bold, fun. These are all great. So again, take some time at the end of this to really reflect and to really determine for yourself how you want to develop your own voice. Okay. And so that was a lot of the more written part, the more communication, the more written communication part of how you will develop your content. But of course, another really key part of branding is the visual side of things. To play the part, you really need to look the part. And so branding from the visual perspective is also really, really critical here. As we saw in the earlier slides of MailChimp and LaCroix and Patagonia, though those brands visually are quite bold and quite recognizable and distinct. And so that's something that you will also need to determine for your own brand and for your own blog. And it all bleeds into each other. You know, if you are, you know, the adjectives that you have all described here, while that should determine how you speak and how you write, it should also be reflected in the visuals. You know, how can you make the visuals bold? How can you show that it is strong and secure? What are some of the affiliations, visual affiliations that we might have as a society with those particular words or adjectives? And so again, with visuals, we're talking about logo, colors, the kinds of images or illustrations. If you're going to go that way, what kinds of illustrations or imagery or photography are you going to use in your blog? What about the typography? So that's the fonts that you use. All of these different pieces to it. So Beth also spoke to this a little bit in her session where she talked about getting a logo. And I believe she talked about, you know, potentially outsourcing this to somebody who is actually a visual designer. If you're not that person, you know, using Fiverr or Upwork or these different other, what do you call them? Sources, I guess. I saw somebody in the comments earlier talking about how they had worked with a grad student to actually develop their logo, which is such a great idea because, you know, you're also, you know, helping somebody develop their own skills and get experience while having something in return for yourself. So I think that's a really great idea. But what I wanted to also emphasize here is that a branded design doesn't have to mean the sleekest or the brightest or the sexiest. It just means that it fits your blog brand narrative or voice. And so just as an example here, this is an organization I actually used to work with called Operation Groundswell. They're a travel nonprofit organization that facilitates experiential education programs around the world, focus on specific social justice issues, and it is a backpacking program. It's a lot of different things in one, but it is, you know, the voice and the personality, the brand of Operation Groundswell was this budget backpacking educational program, and that was really reflected in the visual side of things too. You know, like we didn't have at the time the best photos sometimes. We didn't have, you know, the sleekest fonts or brand or anything like that. But that kind of worked for us because we were a budget backpacking organization. And so we could lean into that sort of bootstrap, really budget, really economical narrative that was at the heart of our DNA of our brand. And so that worked to our advantage. And really, that's something that you can do for yourself as well, if that's something, you know, that matches up with your own brand. And so that's, again, something to consider. What else do we have here? Oh, Spirit Airlines is also, you know, it's clean, but it's not like their brand here is not over the top. It's not particularly luxurious or anything like that. And it wouldn't make sense for them to be that way because they are also a budget airline. And so when you look at their website, it is, how many times do they mention savings in you know, in their, what do you call this, in their landing page? And that's really in your face. Sweet savings, join and save, subscribe and save. And so awesome savings. And so that's really something to lean into, whichever, it doesn't matter if it's not like a high budget brand that you have or blog that you might have, really just finding a way to match the visuals with your blog's narrative is what's really key. And so I am going to wrap up soon here. There's a lot here, but key takeaways and, again, questions to consider. Crafting your unique identity is about crafting your blog's brand. Branding is a way to communicate with people. It's a way to differentiate yourself from your competition and also create a distinct experience that encourages your community to engage with you. and questions for you to think about on your own time. What is your purpose? What's your mission? And does your content support your mission? That's a question you need to be coming back home to pretty much every time you write a new blog post or develop new content. Does your content support your mission? What's your blog's voice? And how do you want people to feel when they read your blog? And finally, how does all of this translate to the visual experience of your blog? So these are just very quickly key takeaways and questions to consider as you develop your own brand and develop your content moving forward. And a couple of things that I wanted to share with you here before signing off also is Wanderful has some really, really great resources to help you on your journey and your creator journey. I've had the privilege of working with Ariel, who I think just jumped off, but Ariel Goldberg, who is part of our team here at Wanderful to develop the anti-oppression toolkit for travel and culture creators. And this is something that I also recommend you take a look at. While it's not specific to branding, it is super key for you to develop this practice of how to create content that is anti-oppressive, that is equitable. That's something that's really important to Wanderful and something that's really important, should be important for all of us as travelers, as we interact with different cultures. Finding a way for us to really develop these skills. We have developed a toolkit for you to use with a number of different resources. You know, even if you're just getting started in this world, there's something there, hopefully, that will meet your needs. And of course, happy to chat about this and about the anti-oppression toolkit and any of the branding pieces, really. After this session, you can find me at Justine Abigail, or even with Wanderful at She's Wanderful. And one other thing as a resource to share with you all is that Wanderful does have Creator Insider newsletters that come out every 2 weeks, which focuses on powerful resources to support you on your journey. And we'll always be sharing, you know, other whether it's blogs or webinars or other opportunities for you to level up your creator game. This is just the beginning here at Bootcamp, and I hope that you do continue this work even further. And so again, let's connect. You have my info here. And if you have any questions, do feel free to get in touch. And so I will leave it at that and maybe call in Karisma. There we go. Hello.
You guys caught me plugging in my laptop. I apologize. But yes, thank you. Thank you. So I've been so wrapped up in learning that I forgot to plug in my laptop. So if any of you don't have your laptops plugged for this last segment here, make sure you have them plugged in, because we have one more to go through and you don't want to run out of battery while we're doing it. But Justine, thank you so much for, again, that wealth of information and just always being that bold voice, no matter where you are, and being unapologetic, because it's exactly what the world needs and what the travel industry needs. More importantly, so.
Thank you. All right. I'll hop off. I don't know.
Okay, so before we head into our last segment, I'm just going to go over just again, sharing with you guys, if you haven't already done so, take this opportunity to go and get your membership. Join us on the inside. Join our amazing community, because we would love to have you and be able to continue to grow. Because imagine, like, it's 3,000 strong. Imagine if each one of us just invited one person, because I believe it's not just a membership you're growing, but we're helping other people change their lives, helping other women get access to the tools and resources so that they can work from home or work from anywhere in the world, be able to travel and be able to get the experiences. I always tell everyone, travel changes you. It helps to educate you. My son is a perfect example, because when he travels the world, or when he has traveled the world, he's been able to go back to school and tell the teachers, no, that's not right. And the teacher would be like, well, how do you know? And he goes, well, because I've been there. Travel teaches you to be more compassionate and understanding because it gives you the ability to learn from different perspectives and different cultures. I remember at some point in my life, I used to get bothered when people would like bump up against me. And then I head over to Eastern Europe because those are some of the people that I was getting bothered by, and realized that, you know, a lot of that was just part of the common everyday. And so it was never nothing intentional that was happening to me. But you don't start to learn the differences that we all have, and it just makes us have more understanding, more compassion, more love, and also, for my favorite, meet more friends all around the world. So if you haven't already done so, go to sheswonderful.com/join and go ahead and use the Bootcamp 30 discount code to get your 30% off. So with that said, Marissa, if you want to rev up that music, again, everyone, take a quick little 2-minute break. We're just going to enjoy one song from our Women in Travel Radio, and then we're going to head back into our last segment, where I can't wait to share with you when we get back on exactly what this last title is.
Hay dos mitades en la verdad, una escondida está, aquello que cuenta y que contará, es la que sentirás. Para este viaje no hay mentiras ni excusas que poner. Deja que el viento abra ya las velas que no te harán volver. Estalla tu luz y el mar se iluminará, te asombrarás tú al ver tanta inmensidad. Son muchos los pasos que te convierten en electricidad. Deja que te lleve la corriente hasta la libertad. Estalla tu luz y el mar se iluminará, te asombrarás tú al ver su profundidad. Eres tú el que entiende la luz enseguida, que el hielo derrita la sed de la vida. El verano está ya, el verano está ya, el cielo de noche infinita está allá. Por fin depende solo de ti, de nuestros límites. Estás sin definir. El verano está ya, el verano está ya. El hielo derrita desde la vida. Ahora créeme, ahora sí, estalla tu luz y el mar se iluminará, te asombrarás tú al ver tanta inmensidad. Eres tú el que entiende la luz enseguida, que el hielo derrita la sed de la vida. El verano está ya, el verano está ya, el hielo de noche infinita está allá. Está allá, se iluminará, te asombrarás tú. Y está allá, y está allá, tanta inmensidad. El verano está allá, el verano está allá, el hielo de noche infinita está allá. I wish I could read my just need to find a rhyme that'll convey the truth. Feel like I'm blinded like a fool. You say I should know just what to do. It's just too tight on letting loose. All my life I've been praying, searching for something to find, waiting for a God that would save me. But maybe everything that's under the sun is divine. Looking at a blank sheet of paper, tearing the binding away. Find me, and I'll stay a while. Feel like I'm blinded by the truth. Say I should know just what to do. It's just too tight on letting loose. All my life I've been praying, searching for something to find, waiting for a God that would save me. But maybe everything that's under the sun is divine. Is divine. And I know there's no answer I could look. There's no answer no matter how hard I look. All my life I've been praying, searching for something to find, waiting for a God that would save me. But maybe everything that's under the sun. All my life I've been praying, searching for something to find, waiting for a God that would save me. But maybe everything that's under the sun is divine. Is divine. Is divine.
All right, welcome back. Again, I hope you all went and took a quick little break to the ladies' room, got powdered up, got a little freshness going on, or got some tea, something to snack on. But without further ado, I'm actually going to introduce myself because I am your last expert for the day that's going to be sharing with you some tidbits on making some money. It's my favorite thing to do outside of traveling. It's actually making money. So if you guys haven't already met me, you know that I have my own blog and social media influence called @GottaHaveCharisma. And throughout that journey, I've been able to create what I would call a work from anywhere income. And I say work from anywhere because I have worked in Paris. I have worked when I was in India. I have worked when I was at home and also on the road with my son who plays travel ball. So I'm able to travel and be able to plug in and be able to make an income as a creator from wherever I'm at. So I want to share with you guys some tidbits. So Marissa, if you can do me a favor and go ahead and bring up my presentation. So without further ado, we're going to learn 25 ways to monetize your blog and your influence so you can work from anywhere and travel the world. And let me head over here. So as I shared before, so I actually, you've all seen me on the Wanderful team and different aspects of working within the community, within doing events to, strengthen and grow the community. But maybe some of you don't know, I actually have a community of my own called Color Me World. And I'm also a Los Angeles-based travel and lifestyle digital content creator, and also a work from anywhere business coach. I'm also a mom with a super passion for travel and living a very conscious and elevated life. So many of you are probably asking, okay, so Beth taught me how to make money, and then we learned what kind of content and having that voice, and we've learned these things, or how to have my blog, but how to make money from my blog, or how to make money from my influence? Because your blog is just one of the ways that you're influencing people. You're influencing through your social media. You're influencing them through your emails. You're influencing them in many different ways. And there's lots of ways that we can capitalize off of what we're creating from our blog, from our photos, from our videos, from our writings. And we're going to just go, there's a lot more than 25, but I'm just going to go over 25 of them. And I'm trying to figure out how I can see the questions in the chat at the same time. So let's see. Okay. So starting off at number 1, and at any time, if you guys got questions, go ahead and put them in the chat, and we're going to get those flowing too. But if I don't get to your questions, just know that, as I shared before, there's going to be a special event for all of those that joined today and all of those that are existing. So you'll be able to, if you don't get it answered, write your questions down so that you can join us on the inside after and we can get them answered. So we're going to start with number 1. You can create a business directory. And more specifically, you can create a travel business directory. So think about this. What types of product or services does your audience frequently ask for recommendations on? Compile a list and then approach relevant businesses, more specifically, in our case, travel businesses, to sign up for your business directory. You can create like a tool business directory plugin. You can use plugins on WordPress, or there's Community Box that Squarespace has that makes this super simple. And then basically you can do things like, charging these businesses one time, or maybe they want to stay over a period of 12 months and stay in that directory, or you can actually make it a membership based. You can be so creative on creating this travel business directory one time, and then either charging the actual businesses themselves, but you can also put this in like a membership kind of community and actually charge a membership for it as well. So number 2, you can promote an affiliate product. So you can promote your own products, but more importantly, there's so many affiliate programs out there that gives you the ability to join, promote, and earn. And affiliate sales actually comprise a large chunk of revenue for most of our big name bloggers. For instance, my good friend Hadiatu Dimboya makes about $40K per month from doing affiliate sales, compared to she has a book that she makes maybe a few hundred or a few $1,000 from that every month. In general, you're going to look for affiliate products with higher price points. Travel clubs or community memberships like Wanderful, they're a great choice if it makes sense in your niche. Now, it's not advised that if you got a travel blog, that you're in there doing other things that are outside your niche. You're not teaching people, how to do workout, unless you're doing travel and working out, travel and fitness. Just make sure that whatever you're sharing with your audience, because I don't like to sell anything. No one likes to be sold to, but they do like to be shared with. So even throughout my presentation, like you'll hear me talk about, like everyone loves to hear about, or at least every woman that I know that loves to travel would love to hear about an amazing women's community where they can connect with other women travelers all over the world. And in the chat earlier, I saw someone mention that because someone had posted and shared about WITS, they actually found this event and joined today. So My top 5 affiliate programs, I'm going to start with number 1 being Wanderful. You are all here today either because someone told you about it or you learned about it. But how about every time you share the Wanderful membership with someone else, you can make a 25% commission, not just off of your one-time sharing it, but every single time someone actually signs up for their membership again. So that means that if someone's on a monthly paying $9.99 every single month over and over again for the life of that membership, you're actually going to make money again. Or if they're on an annual, let's say they're a creator for $169, you're going to actually make 25% reoccurring commission. And you don't just make commission off of for Wanderful from memberships, but you make affiliate commissions off of ticket sales from events and many other things that you can find out when you go into the affiliate program. Some of my other favorite, I'm going to say my own community, which is Color Me World. Another one, I'm also always teaching people how to create their work from anywhere businesses. So I love Canva, and Canva, you can earn up to $36 off of each new Canva Pro subscriber. And more importantly, like Canva now has the ability to post to your Instagram. So as these things share, and I just constantly just share, but like, how cool is it? And someone's like, oh, I never heard about Canva. Here, let me send you a link. Boom, I just got paid. Then there's something like ConvertKit. I really like them as well because ConvertKit that Beth mentioned earlier, you earn a 30% commission every time you sign someone up and a reoccurring commission of 30% every time that person renews their subscription. And then when building communities, when building online courses, Mighty Networks is actually one of my favorite because you earn a 25% commission for the first 3 years. This is reoccurring. Unfortunately, it doesn't go forever, but for the first 3 years, like I've been sharing the Mighty Networks the ability to create community and the ability to create courses, and you're able to share this and make a recurring commission. There's a lot of them, and later on I'm going to tell you guys all to head over to my website, because when you sign up for my newsletter, you actually get a list of my top 50 travel affiliate programs that you can actually join. Oh, and there you go. So if you head over to KarismaShackelford.com, you can get over 50 plus travel affiliate programs that are in alignment for those of us that have travel blogs. And you can actually make a really substantial amount of income just sharing other people's information. So number 3, sell ad space. And again, I think Beth brought this up. You can do it much easier on WordPress. Squarespace, yes, you can do it too. And it is just a little bit more manual, and you'll just have to be more creative when doing it. It's just not as a plug and play as WordPress, but it can be done. And when you're doing ad space, this is a strategy that most bloggers start with when looking to monetize their blog. However, keep in mind, you're not limited to selling banner ad spots, which is generally an effective strategy these days. But consider other areas you can rent out. Think of your pop-up box. If you head over to my website, you'll see a pop-up box, but I'm using it to promote my newsletter. But you can also sell that space to others that would like to pop up every time someone enters your blog for the very first time. You can sell social media headers, the PS on your newsletter. Think outside the box. If I say share it, and if it pops up in your mind, try to sell it as ad space. And if someone wants to have that real estate space, boom, and cha-ching, there's more money inside your pocket. Number 4, offer services. So while selling your services may not make you rich, look to passive income to do that. It's a big offering services is a great way to make some extra cash and to build up your reputation. Sell services that are directly related to your topic of your blog. Example, you can do create catering for a food blog, or you can do freelance blogging services like writing or graphic design. Number 5, you can offer consulting services. And there's a need for consultants in every niche, especially the travel industry. Yes. So this past year, I've been able to actually do some consulting services with some other travel companies, some really nice big names. And so you got to be creative out there. If you have knowledge, other people need your knowledge. Package that up and into consulting services. put it under services on your blog, on your website, and charge by the hour for the phone call, the email, the Skype, the Zoom, whatever. You can charge a few $100s and make sure that you're just delivering content and delivering information that people can't get otherwise for free just on the internet. Number 6, you're going to write sponsored posts. As you build up your blog, expect to receive multiple sponsored post requests each day. These native ads can be a highly effective way for businesses to reach your audience in a non-threatening way, and they can be a highly effective way for you to make a lot of money. Just make sure the posts are actually interesting and relevant to your audience, and that you also fully disclose the sponsored nature of the post. And I see that Katrina, hopefully I'm saying your name right, not butchering, but she wanted to know where you can find your wonderful affiliate link. So you can, Marissa, if you can drop the link to where people can actually sign up for the Wonderful Affiliate Program, it's the same place that you're going to log into and actually see all of your links. So back to number 7, we have offering coaching services. So very similar to consulting. Coaching is usually more of a one-on-one service, while consulting is generally provided to organizations or teams. Put together a range of packages you can offer: hourly discounts, do-it-yourself packages, or unlimited email advice packages. And this is actually a very lucrative way, and it's one of my favorite ways that I've been making income. And my income literally doubled in coaching services wise during the pandemic, because as many people that were wanting to learn how to work from anywhere, I was able to offer my coaching services to people and to provide an extra income coming in. Number 8, you can host webinars. Now, while many businesses use them to generate leads, hosting paid webinars is also an option. Just make sure you're providing exceptional value. With so many free webinars out there, you're going to want to make sure that you're offering something pretty special if you want to charge for it. And a great example of this, if any of you have, or not just webinars, but I should say online events too. So a great example of this is the Wanderful Wednesdays. So if any of you have been to there and you weren't a member, there's a $10 ticket on that. But if you were a member, you actually got it for free. So being able to do something like that allows you to, one, it's a low ticket item that $10 people are going to pay for it. Especially if they want to experience what it is that you're sharing. And then number 2, if you have a membership community like Wanderful, it also gives them the ability to upsell, because you can actually say, hey, after you finish this event that you're attending, here's a 14-day free trial to the Wanderful membership community. And when that person signs up, if they continue with their membership and they don't cancel, they now become a reoccurring membership that you'll be able to make money off of every single month, and not just the one-time off of the ticket. Number 9, host sponsored contests or giveaways. And these are really fun because it gives you the ability to approach businesses in your niche and offer to host a giveaway or contest on your blog or social media. This can increase awareness of your business among your followers. And when done right, can also generate a ton of leads for your business. Literally, as we were sitting here today, while Justine was on, I was checking my email, and I literally got a request from someone that said, hey, I would love to work with you and your community and host a giveaway. And they wanted to know the cost to be able to do that. So here it is. You have a community, you have a following, you have your influences other people. And businesses will pay for that influence that you have. They'll pay for access to your email list. They'll pay for access to your community. They'll pay for access because that is a marketing stream for them. Number 10, teach an online course. So you want to design and host an online course entirely on your own blog. You can use things like WordPress plugins like LearnDash and Zippy to make it easier to get started. Or if you prefer to host your own course, you can use established online education sites like Udemy or Skillshare. I also like Teachable, and my new favorite over the past year and some change is Mighty Network, because it gives you the ability to, one, have online courses, but around your online course, you'll be able to build a community and keep everything housed in one section. And you'll be able to do that online with courses all in one. Oh, yes. So Triple Photo Tours just said that they just joined Wanderful. So exciting. And for Katrina says, thank you. Okay, perfect. Actually, no, they just joined the affiliate program. So yeah, for those of you that would like to make that extra stream of income, get over there to the Wanderful affiliate program and watch people just start joining, because they're going to be excited that you're excited. So let's go on to our next one. Create a private community. So I just talked about Mighty Network and creating a private community, but you can create your private community of your own. There was someone on here that said that, they have high anxiety and they like to be very detailed when it comes to the planning. Create a community. So you have your blog, and then they're able to log into the community. You can build a virtual community on your WordPress blog. You don't have to use Mighty Networks. There's free plugins like BB Press, or you can host it on Facebook using Facebook groups. And then again, you'll learn, my absolute favorite is the Mighty Network, because you're able to take it separately and actually build a network that is quiet from the Facebook noise. And for me, much easier than actually doing WordPress. So with so many free groups out there, just make sure that you're offering amazing value to make the monthly fee worth it. Because what you don't want to do is get people inside of a community, they've paid for it, and then the word of mouth is, you know what, I joined that, but it just wasn't for me. You want to make sure that your turnover rate is very low. So there's some things that you can do to actually walk through someone to make sure that your community is hitting its niche and making everyone happy. So number 12, write an ebook. So I know a lot of us have a lot of information packed up in these brains. And when we have in-depth knowledge in our niche, we can package it up and make an ebook and sell it on our blog. I would generally advise, not exclusively selling it on Amazon or things like Kobo, because then you would probably have to charge much less. But if you've already built up a solid audience through your blog, or if you have a nice social media following, you can probably charge anywhere from like $5 for a very short ebook, and all the way up to $39 or more for an ebook. And if your information and your followers, your community that you are built, trust you, they're going to buy. So if you're teaching them, let's say you're just doing, you're just giving someone an experience on what you did for 10 days in Bali, package that up and sell it to someone else. How to pack for a month. Package it up and sell it to someone else. Like, these ebooks don't need to be something that's very elaborate. They also don't need to be super long. If you have information, guess what? On the other end, someone is always on Pinterest, they're on Google, they're looking up how to, and you want to make sure that you have a blog post that is leading them back to an ebook or something that the person is looking to get that problem solved, that you have a low ticket item that they're going to be able to not have to make a big long-term decision. They can make a really quick short decision to actually purchase that advice or that ebook or whatever it is that you're selling, so that they can go ahead and get their problem solved. Number 13, sponsored social content. So this is something that was actually my favorite, my favorite things that I learned when first, going to WITS, is realizing that people were actually using their Instagram and they were getting paid for it. So I was part of a really cool travel club, and I was sharing at the time this really fun travel club that I still enjoy to this day. And I didn't realize that I was sharing my content and people were joining because they were watching my traveling around the world and having fun. But I wasn't getting paid for my post. I was literally just taking all these photos and doing it for fun. And then I showed up for WITS and realized that, hey, I can actually pitch people and actually get paid for this. So Give businesses some airtime on your Facebook or post sponsored tweets, Instagram pics, or YouTube videos. And these are generally quick and easy to post. Some of your YouTubes can get a little bit more extensive, but it shouldn't take you that long. And you can charge anywhere from $50, depending on what your social media following is. Or you can even do these sponsored posts on your blog. And depending on the amount of followers that you have that are there, you can charge over thousands of dollars for these posts. And I can tell you, I actually went out to a community. I partnered with another influencer at the time, and she had a really robust blog. And I realized that I was just starting. So this is a gold nugget for all of you that are just starting. Go and partner with someone else, because what I did was I was out pitching, and I got in touch with a property up in Oregon, and I was pitching them, and they said, yes, I would love to have you come out. So I ended up, splitting 20 grand for some Facebook posts. We had some YouTube videos. We did a nice package. But that was a $10,000 weekend for me and a $10,000 weekend for her. And I tell you that it's very well worth it. And these marketing dollars that are there, don't think small. The $50, yes, they're there, but there's also these $1,000, $10,000 on up, and you don't have to have 100K followers. You don't have to think about that. You have to build this long term, because they're working with niche, more smaller influencers, like both me and the other influencer. We had blogs, but we also had social media followings. Mine's is about 20K. Hers was about 50K. And you think about that, you put it together, and they realize that how it can grow, because people from both of our social media followings were actually booking to actually come to their resort after. And you got to think about this. We're actually saving them money by doing this through our social medias, through our blogs, versus them having to pay for advertisement space on television, or advertisement space, on more traditional advertising platforms. So when you're pitching, don't think of it as I'm charging them too much. Just think of it as I'm actually going to be doing them a favor, because I'm charging them much less than they would have had to pay traditionally doing more traditional advertising. Yes, and as they just said, if anyone has any questions as I'm going along, feel free to chime them in here. I'm going back and forth and, grabbing the questions and going back to my presentation. But again, I can get really wrapped up in this, because this is really exciting to me on the many different ways that you can actually make income from your blog and your influence in general. So number 14, premium gated content. So premium gated content can mean any of the type of content you charge, like I talked before, ebooks, you can do white papers, you can do downloadable guides, and so much more. But what I'm referring to here is pay gated content. So basically you just put some awesome content up behind a paywall, which means visitors have to pay to access it. You can get your paywall set up in like 10 minutes or less using a plugin if you have a WordPress site like MemberPress, or a paid membership pro on WordPress. Or if you like, you can also do something like this with Mighty Network. Again, you can actually host all of your content inside of Mighty Network, charge a membership monthly, or you can charge a one-time flat rate fee. You can be creative here. But the concept is that you're going to put all of your content behind this gated wall, and then you're going to charge access for it. Number 15, site sponsorship. So we talked about, allowing people to buy advertisements or places on your blog, in your header, in your newsletter, for them to be able to get recognized and noticed on your blog. But how about if someone wants to pay to sponsor your entire site? So some advertisers aren't content to just have content with just having a banner or a sponsored post. They want the full meal deal. And it doesn't come around very often, but if it does, or if you even pitch it, a site sponsorship is where an advertiser basically has full reign of your site. at least in terms of the advertising exclusivity. This can mean they can get banner ads, mentions on your pop-up, your logo, their logo on your blog, your banner, etc. And this doesn't have to be forever either. You can do it to where they have a 3-month or a 1 month. You can be creative on this and then have different sponsorships that come in during different types of the years. Maybe it's during the winter and you're in travel space and you have a winter resort that understands that a lot of people that love to ski and snowboard actually come to your blog, and they may want to take over the site sponsorship during the ski season. So be creative and understand that there's site sponsorships that people can also get in addition to just having sponsored posts. Number 16, you can sell merchandise. You can sell t-shirts, you can sell mugs, you can sell anything your heart desires that aligns with your blog. Adding a shop page to your blog is easy and it's free with the plugin on WordPress like WooCommerce or for Workspace. And Squarespace has this feature built right in. You just need to make sure that you choose the level of your subscription that allows you to do the e-commerce. And whether you sell handmade goods or your own digital products, this is a low-cost option for this. And you can also sell other relevant products that can be a great way to make some extra cash from your blog. I do know I've purchased things online from some travel blogs where these travelers were traveling the world and buying these artifacts and these gifts and these purses from all around the world, and they were selling them on their website. So you can have fun, be creative with this, and just align it with your travel blog. Number 17, you can sell templates. And I'm sure that you guys seen these all over the place. A good template can save your audience time and money. Templates can work in almost any niche business. You can do new client contract templates for fitness. You can do a 30-day workout fitness template. Or how about you're someone that does travel and fitness? You can give someone a 30-day plan on how to get in shape before they're heading to Barbados or before they're going to head out to that, beach vacation. You can do a 3-month clean eating template. Maybe you're a traveler that also, handles with health and wellness. I have a friend, she has a blog and she actually does that. She travels the world and she collects herbs from all over the world. And then she makes these really cool herbal teas that helps people heal their bodies from the inside out. You can be really creative when you're selling templates. But she takes these templates. So she creates tea templates so that you can actually go and find your own herbs. You don't always have to buy them from her, but you can create these tea templates, go and get your own herbs, put them together, package them together, and make your own teas. So I'm telling you, just be really creative on everything that I'm sharing here. And then we can also jump into that private event that we're going to have, because our wheels are going to be turning now that you're starting to learn all the different ways that you can make money off of your blog. You're going to you've learned from Beth and them how to create the blog and all the content and stuff like that. So again, write those questions down, because when we get together, we can brainstorm not just on that one event, but you guys can do this continuously throughout the creator membership community. So number 18, create a job board. So creating a job board on your site is a great way to make your blog sticky, meaning you get visitors returning again and again. And it's also a great way to earn some extra cash while also providing a valuable service. And it doesn't only have to have jobs, like you can put one-off gigs on there. So there is Darren Rouse, and hopefully I'm saying that right, from Pro Blogger, and he runs a hugely popular blog where he charges like $70 for a 30-day listing with around 70 listings per month. He's bringing in some solid earnings with relevant that's relevant and with very little investment. So imagine you just went around and you talked to different businesses and you're like, hey, I have a community of XYZ. And guess what? They're always looking for ways that they can work remotely. So maybe your listings only have remote jobs and gigs because your focus is travelers. Now imagine how many travelers and how many remote workers and everything people would be constantly coming to your website, and in turn these businesses could pay you to actually get access for it. Or if you have a community using Mighty Networks, you can add that inside of the community. And so when you're selling that membership, you're making sure that you're highlighting that there's a job and gig board within inside of the community, so that people know that in addition to whatever else you're offering inside the community, this is just an added bonus. Number 19, create a private boot camp. So like today, you're all at a boot camp, but you can host your very own boot camp for your audience to help them accomplish a specific goal. This works well with fitness, like we talked about earlier, the 30-day get in shape boot camp. But how about if you did the twist and made that a 30-day travel fitness boot camp? So you're getting everyone that wants, like everyone tries to get in shape before they head out to their bikini vacation. Well, now you can actually create a boot camp to get all of these amazing ladies ready and prepared for that vacation. You can also do other types of boot camps. Like let's imagine that you're getting women that are traveling solo for the very first time. You're doing a boot camp, a 30-day boot camp to get them over their fears. You can do mindset. You can do some yoga and meditation. You can teach them, how to access the embassy. Templates during that 30-day boot camp on giving them the tools and the resources and checklists, everything that they need to make sure that they're prepared to go and travel the world on their own. And you can bring them through a 30-day boot camp, getting them ready. And there's so much more, and you can make a living off of this very, very easily, because you can rinse and repeat. You create the boot camp once, and if it's a 30-day boot camp, you can repeat it every 30 days, because guess what? You're going to have new people that want to do that boot camp. Or if you want to do it every quarter, it's something that you create one time, and then you can wash and repeat the boot camp over and over again. Number 20, you can write tutorials. So this is another fun one that if you have social media, you can actually pitch brands to actually create tutorials for teaching others on how to use their products or services that they have. So in-depth tutorials are great for getting links and social shares. However, they can also be a great way to earn money on your blog. There are a number of ways you can make this happen, including affiliate links for the products you use in your tutorial. You can promote your own products in your tutorial. You can write a tutorial to promote an advertiser's product, so you can pitch them and actually get them to pay you to actually do it. Or when you're doing the affiliate links, you can sign up for affiliate links for other people's things and actually teach them. So you can be creative on how you're doing that. And just to be clear, when you're pitching the actual advertiser, this isn't going to be a sponsored post. So you do have to let people know that it is a sponsored post. However, I would also recommend that if you let the sponsor know when you're pitching them that you're only going to work with brands that you like and that are in alignment, so that you're not one selling, but you're just sharing and you're informing people along your journey. So number 21, take your expertise offline. So your blog can directly earn you money online, but that's not your only option. Leverage the knowledge and expertise you've built through your blog to offer your services as a local public speaker or presenter. So you can take it offline, or better yet, keep it online and take it to Zoom. So over the pandemic, I've been paid up to $1,000 to actually speak, through my computer. But that's the same speech that I can take and actually go and do it in person. So take your expertise onto Zoom. Don't be shy on sharing that information, because again, whatever your topic is, that's something that you can rinse and repeat and do over again. And just so you know, I'm going to go back to the slide, because this is Felicia. I actually put her up here because she is one of our creator experts. And so she is in there. You guys can ask her a lot of information. If you're looking to do any speaking, I would highly encourage you to get inside and attend one of her events that are exclusive to our wonderful community, because she walks you through the processes of becoming a public speaker to taking your knowledge and turning it into something that others would want to hear about. And then also she has access to getting you booked. So I would highly recommend that once you get your membership or you have your membership, make sure you sign up for one of her mini classes that she does, because it's very well worth it. And I promise that, you'll be able to book some stuff from her just from what she's teaching you. So number 22, in-content affiliate links. So if you have a particularly popular blog post that you like to monetize, add affiliate links within your post content. Not sure where to start with finding affiliate programs? You can always start with the most popular affiliate program, which is Amazon, or find relevant products via affiliate networks like Share a Sale or ClickBank. And as I shared with you guys earlier, there's the Wanderful membership. There's affiliate program. There's so many ways for you to make money as an affiliate. So you want to make sure that you're adding this into your content. And so that's literally adding links. So mentioning where the link is and hyperlinking that back to giving them the ability to go sign up for the membership, or linking them back to the product that is a affiliate link that will give you the commission. Because a lot of these links too, they have cookies on them. So they'll have 30, 60, 90, 1 year cookies. So you'll learn when you're signing up for these different affiliate programs exactly what those are. So you want to pay attention to those, and you can start embedding them into your blog posts and throughout the content that you share. So, and then you want to make sure that when you are sharing it, though, that you do give a disclosure that you do share affiliate links, because you just don't want people to think that you just want to be translucent. I just believe in being 100% translucent, but there's also guidelines that we have to follow. So just make sure that you're including that disclosure on your blog, making sure that disclosure is shared through your social media outlets as well. Number 23, product reviews. So earlier we talked about how you can do sponsored posts, you can do tutorials teaching people how to use products, but you can also give your feedback. You can give your opinion. You can give a review and actually get paid for it. So you can reach out to relevant businesses and offer to review their products or services for a fee. But when you do this, you want to be sure to clarify that a positive review isn't guaranteed. So you don't want to be that person that you're just collecting money just to give positive reviews, and you actually didn't, one, try the product or service, or two, if you didn't like it, don't leave a review, or you can let the business know that if you don't like what their product review was, or I'm sorry, if you didn't like their product, that you can give them their money back if you can't give them a positive review. And it's okay. And I think it means a lot to you, or means a lot when a influencer, a creator, will actually walk away and say, you know what, I can't give a positive review. Let me go ahead and refund you that $1,000 that you were going to pay me, because this doesn't align with my brand, and I don't want to share false information on things that don't align with me, because if I won't use it, I don't want to share it with other people. And then just go on to the next one, because there's lots of product reviews that you can do out there. And most importantly, you just want to make sure that you're continuously protecting your brand along the way. So here's a couple examples of some product reviews. This is one that is on Instagram. This is a product review on Facebook. A product review that you can do on Pinterest. And then, of course, you can do product reviews on your blogs. So let me make sure that we have no questions that came in. So yes, number 12 was to write an ebook. And Casey says, very beginner question, but do you just reach out cold to brands you want to work with? Is there a particular science to this? These are great ideas. Yes, Casey, I believe there is no rhyme and reason to how you're doing this. So I go to the travel show because I want to meet people that I can pitch to. I'm on LinkedIn and I reach out to brands, and I actually created a template on how I generally have a conversation to begin to have that conversation with them just to see if they're open. So when you come inside the community, I can share some of those templates with you because I don't mind sharing them, but they're super simple. It's no different. You're going to go on a first date. You have to ask them, are they interested in going on a date with you? Tell them, but only pitch brands that you actually love and you actually would use their product or service, even if you weren't getting paid. So back to number 24, this is dropship products. So if you're interested in selling products on your blog, but don't want to deal with any shipping and inventory, drop shipping is a great way to sell products with very little risk. I have a good friend that she has a blog and she travels the world, and guess what she loves to do? She loves to show off her swimsuits. So she has a drop shipping company, and she sells swimsuits and everything you can possibly use at the beach. And she doesn't have to ship anything. People come to her website. She's attached to a drop shipping company that she works with, and voila, she gets to go travel the world. And all she has to do is go and share her blog and the things that she's doing anyways. And, a non-travel company that does a really great job at this. And I would highly, suggest that if you're interested in drop shipping, go and learn from even some non-travel companies like Wayfair. They've done a really great job at creating a dropship model that allows people to make a lot of money. So it's a really great way to learn. Number 25, create a resource page. So resource lists tell your audience what tools, product, or services you use and or recommend. They're a great way to provide a valuable service to your audience while also earning you money through affiliate links or paid placements. Just be clear to clearly disclose which links you benefit from and which you don't. So a great example of this is when I share with you all my website, KarismaShackelford.com. When you actually sign up, you're going to get a link to my resource library. You're going to get a username and password. Well, inside of there is all of my recommended things that I actually use when I'm sharing with people on creating their blog and creating their work from anywhere business. So 90% of those or 99% of those, they're affiliate links, but they're affiliate links to products and service that I actually use myself. And I actually coach when I'm doing one-on-one coaching services. So I give access to people because they're always asking me, well, Karisma, what do you use? Well, Karisma, what website hosting company do you use? What service do you use for emails? Who are you using to design that graphic? So instead of having to answer those questions over and over again, I can just go, hey, send you to my resource library. And guess what? People click on my links and I make an income from it. So now it's all fine and dandy if you have these 25 ways to make money. But like Beth said earlier, you got to get traffic to your website. So I'm going to piggyback off of everything that she said, and I'm going to add a few more if some of these may overlap. But you want to make sure that you get traffic to your website. You can litter your website with opt-in forms, products, services, courses, etc. all day. But unless you're simultaneously growing traffic to your site's traffic, your site's traffic, no one's going to opt into anything that you're sharing. So that's why this step is so essential. And there are many ways to grow your website's traffic. And here are just a few of my favorite. So as Beth shared, your SEO. Google is one of the biggest search engines in the world. This means that with the right strategies, it can be a gold mine for your blog's traffic. And the best part, once you start receiving an increase in traffic from Google, it begins to pretty much run on autopilot forever. So if you don't know SEO, I highly encourage you to come inside, learn from the other creators that are in there, from our experts, dibble and dabble in SEO, and make this something that becomes a priority. I know SEO sounds daunting. It used to me too, but along your journey, just like anything else, you're going to learn it little by little, and it'll become easier along the process. Then there's Pinterest SEO. So now a lot of people don't pay attention to Pinterest, but it is powerful and so often underrated search engine. And would you believe me if I told you that if used properly, Pinterest will drive tons of traffic to your blog, no matter what niche or industry you're in? And it's true, with hundreds of millions of users and billions of pins, Pinterest is an excellent platform to grow your traffic. Your in addition to your traffic to your website, it'll grow your email list and it'll get you sales into what you're sharing. And it's really cool because if I'm trying to figure out how to pack my suitcase for I'm going on a month-long trip and I have to do it all within a carry-on. And I want to figure out what are other people doing to actually do this, because it's going to be my first time traveling. And for a lot of us, we're like, oh, well, that's simple. Well, guess what? A lot of people never traveled before. And with this pandemic, it's actually going to be something that people are going to want to learn, something so simple as packing. So imagine you go to Pinterest, you click on, I went there looking for how to pack my carry-on suitcase for a month. And then there is a Pinterest that comes up. I click on the link, it leads me back to someone's blog. And at the end of the blog, they have inlined inside of there, click here to actually download my travel guide on how to not only pack for 30 days, but it's a bundle. It's going to teach you, how to pack for different case scenarios. Maybe it got families in there and it's a bundle. And let's say you sell it for $9.99, you sell it for $19.99, but it'll just go on autopilot because the more people start to search for things, it'll actually show up inside of the search engine, and you can use Pinterest to actually get your blog out there and everything else that you're selling in general. So get traffic to your blog by getting on podcast interviews in your niche. So if you love chatting with people, then podcast interviews can become a solid strategy to grow your traffic and email, to grow your traffic and your email list. So just pitch some podcasts that are in your niche and who have the audience that you want to attract. And also be creative here, because let's say I'm trying to get someone to put us on their podcast for because we're looking for women that love to travel. So I'm not just going to go look at other travel communities, but let's say there's a women's community and it's full of these entrepreneurs. Guess what? We got creators. And guess what? I'm sure a lot of those women that are entrepreneurs, they also want to travel. So be creative when you're going to other podcasts. And if you're in travel, it just doesn't have to be with other travel individuals, but think a little bit deeper than that. Look at the demographics of those individuals. What is their average income of the people that are watching those, that are listening to those podcasts? And ask the demographics of the person when you're pitching them, so that you can get a clear understanding that if their audience aligns with yours, because just because they may not be in travel, it doesn't mean that they don't like travel. Things tend to overcross themselves. So you can host a joint venture webinar. And if you're comfortable with being on screen and presenting in front of a virtual live audience, then you can host a virtual event for another community in your niche. So you can take something that one of your webinars yourself and pitch it to another community. You can offer to do it for them paying. You can offer to do it for different reasons. Maybe if you're just looking to drive traffic to your blog post and you got something that you want to share, maybe you're looking to get them on the email list so that you can in turn share with them some of your blog posts. You got to be creative when you're doing these things, but there's so many ways that you can build traffic to your website, your blog, whatever you want to call it, but they're one and the same. You can write guest posts for sites on your niche. You can pitch to write guest posts for Wanderful. If you have not already done so, I highly encourage you to go to sheswanderful.com and actually click on down below, and I believe it says work with us, or it did like Marissa, if you're there, if you can drop the link on how, our creators can actually pitch to actually be able to write content on the Wanderful blog. Because guess what? When someone likes your guest post, they're going to head back over to your blog because they're going to want to read more from you. So imagine you came to the Wanderful blog and you see something from Onika the Traveler, and you're like, wow, she is powerful. Wow, I love how she's unapologetic in the voice that she has, and how she just clearly stands up for, you know, these certain things within politics and stuff. Guess what? I'm going to be like, you know what? I wonder what her blog is. Let me head over to her and let me subscribe to her blog as well. So guest post writing is really helpful. Host a collaboration. We talked about this earlier. You can host a free challenge, a paid challenge with other businesses. You can host a joint venture webinar. You can do a video interview on someone else's platform. You can host a Facebook Live for someone else's Facebook group. You can do an Instagram takeover or Instagram story takeover. Think outside the box. Just if people have a community and there's a way for you to get in front of them, you want to make sure that you're taking advantage of this so you can drive all that traffic back over to your blog. So truly the sky's the limit. And just because you haven't seen someone do a particular type of collaboration before doesn't mean it's not a good idea. So think outside the box, because it's often doing that is often what gets people to remember you. And that's what's going to get them to come back to your blog and subscribe. That's what's going to get them to want to be on your email list. That's what's going to get them to want to come back and buy and anything that you're selling. Because once they like, know, and trust you, you have fans that will stick around forever. So congrats to all of you that have stayed not only for my presentation, but the entire Beginner Bootcamp, because you have all deserve a trophy. We've gotten through this day together. And my key takeaway before we head out of here is to remember to always run your own race. Don't look at anyone else's blog. Don't look at anyone else's Instagram post and compare yourself to the way that how fast they're growing or what they're doing, because what they're doing is for their audience. There's an audience for all of us. You don't have to be anyone else. Exactly who you are, people are going to love you for who you are, and they're going to follow you for who you are. If you're quirky, don't try to be the cool, sexy girl down the street. And if you're the cool, sexy girl, don't try to be the person trying to teach business if that's something that's not you. Just trust me that whatever it is, the information that you have, somebody else wants it, and they're going to like, trust, and want to follow you just for being the authentic person that you are. So with that said, Marissa, if you want to go ahead and take down my slide, I'm just going to just give you guys, and how do I put this slide up? Because I want to put back up the slide that had the 30% off, because I want to make sure that you guys have one. Someone said my newsletter is giving them an error message. So give me a second, because and check back in an hour, and I want to see what's happening, and you'll be able to sign up for the newsletter there. So just give me an hour after we get off of here. But again, I don't see, let's see. Okay, I need to unshare. Stop my screen share and share screen. Here we go. And Marissa, if you can share with my, there we go. So again, I want to make sure that you guys have this all up there. And if you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to drop me a email to karisma@sheswanderful.com. If you got any questions about membership, if you have, for those of you also that wanted to, pitch us an idea and actually do an event for us, for our membership community. If you have a wealth of knowledge and you want to share, you can reach out to myself. You can also reach out to Marissa. We're all on the Wanderful website. You can reach us, or you can ping us inside the community. We are there. But I look forward to seeing you all. Take advantage of the 30% off today. And if you have a free ticket to bootcamp today, I highly encourage you head over as well and get yourself a full ticket and get the most out of this weekend. And then set some goals so that when you come back to the next WITS 1 year later, set some goals and take those and put them in an envelope and fill the envelope. And 1 year later, come back to WITS. And I would love for anyone to share with me that they accomplish those goals, because that's something that is really important. Set the goals today, then spend the year going to work on them. And then let's meet up next year and actually talk about all the goals that we accomplish. So thank you.